This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers, let's go.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising.
What's up, baby?
Whole squad been trained to go.
It is your boy, Stephen D. It is Wildin' Out Wednesday. Yeah, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am your host, Stephen Daniels, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. What's going on? It's your boy, Stephen D. Super excited to be hanging out with y'all today. You can follow me at Stephen D. SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. You can also follow Miami Sports Music at Miami Sports Music and also on Twitter at MIA Sports Music. Want to remind you guys, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It goes such a long way into helping the channel grow, and we can't grow without your help. If you guys want to sign up and become a member to the channel, you can sign up. The link is in the description below. It says membership right next to it. We'd love to get 2 new members to the family. Would love to get 2 new members of the family today. If you're a former member or a current member or want to upgrade your membership or whatever it is, let's get 2 new members to the family today. Would love to do that. If you want to help the channel grow by donating, there's lots of different ways you can do it. You can use the YouTube live super chat, which is the $ below the bottom of the chat. Or if you're re-watching us on replay, there's a heart logo with the $ in the middle. It's called Super Thanks on YouTube. You can always hit that button and feel free to donate and help the channel grow that way. If you don't want to give through YouTube, there's a couple of other ways to donate to the channel. You can use Cashapp, which is $MSMpodcastNetwork, and also PayPal, which is also MSMpodcastNetwork. All right? Want to remind you guys about that. Man, super excited to be hanging out with y'all today. Want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of the show, ZSM Sports, Hangry Owls, Vasasorter, GreatPlaceToSit.com, Tail Greeter. We love them all. Make sure you download the app today on your current Crapple or Android device today. Big deal, guys. Make sure that you're able to do that. All right, man. We got a lot of stuff to do today, man. We got to check in for a lot of things. Super excited to be hanging out with y'all this morning. A lot to talk about, a lot to uncover. A lot to uncover, that went down in the world of football yesterday. As a matter of fact, let's kind of get going to it. It is Wildin' Out Wednesday. We're going to have the full panel on. We'll have you guys on. It'll be a lot of fun. Yesterday, just recapping the events that took place in the NFL, and I'll talk a little bit about each one. The Ravens placed the non-exclusive tag on Lamar Jackson, which gives Lamar Jackson the ability to negotiate with other teams. This was the biggest news of the day yesterday. A lot of you, if you don't know, Lamar Jackson represents himself. He doesn't have any legal representation as far as a scout or a manager or anything like that. So he represents himself. So he can teams can directly talk to him, and he can talk directly with teams. What does this mean for the Lamar Jackson situation? Ultimately, I think it means that the Baltimore Ravens want to see what the market is for him, right? And basically, it allows him to see if he can get a bigger, if he thinks that the team thinks that he's worth this, and he thinks that he's worth this, but it allows him to go out to other teams. And if they're willing him to give more money, it gives the Ravens the opportunity to match that, or they have to give up. That team would pay them, and they'd get 2 first-round picks out of it. So I think it's good for both sides in this particular situation. Ultimately, what I do think is going to come of it is I think Lamar is going to end up re-signing with the Baltimore Ravens officially. I think that they just want to see where at the end of the day they're going to lay when it comes to the guaranteed contract, the money in the guaranteed contract, because Lamar wants guaranteed money and a lot of it, and they're willing to give him some. But at the end of the day, they're just, I think the last time I heard they're about $50 million apart. I personally think that, they're going to be able to find a way to come to some sort of conclusion. And ultimately what I think will happen is the Baltimore Ravens are going to see that the NFL, other teams in the NFL, are very interested in bringing a talent like Lamar Jackson to their team to help them win. And I think ultimately what's going to happen is they're going to come to a decision, and the Ravens are going to see, look, Lamar is right on point with what he's asking for, and he can go out and get that from other teams. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. But look, it's not exclusive, so it does give teams the chance to go out and try to do it. And if a team wants to overpay to bring in a guy like Lamar Jackson, don't be surprised if that happens. Where I think he'll end up getting per year, personally, I think he'll end up getting about probably 45 to 55 million per year is ultimately. And I think it'll be, a lot of guaranteed, if not all of it guaranteed. Look, here's the reality of the situation. Deshaun Watson got a fully guaranteed contract. And I think it set a precedent to some of these other quarterbacks in the NFL that if a guy can have off the field legal issues, then I should be able to come in and say, hey, look, this is what I believe I'm worth. Deshaun Watson hasn't been in the NFL but played a handful of games in the last 2 years, and he got a $200 million contract fully guaranteed. Why can't I get that? And so I think that Lamar's right on the money for what he's asking for. I think the reality of this situation is owners don't want to set. I think the owners were pissed that the Cleveland Browns did that because it allows quarterbacks and players to think that they have the upper hand in this. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with that entire situation. And for some of you who are saying Watson might be a better quarterback than Lamar, just side note, Lamar has won an MVP, Deshaun Watson hasn't. But, to each his own. But so that went down in the world of the NFL, and we could talk more about that during Wild 'N Out Wednesday. The other thing, Daniel Jones does not sign a franchise tag because he came to a decision with the New York Giants on a 4-year, $160 million deal. I think that this helps players like Lamar Jackson, because now Lamar is going to go and say, I'm 10 times better than Daniel Jones is. I think that I should get X amount of dollars. I think that it's going to show somebody like if Tua has a good year this year, and then goes out and wants to negotiate with the Dolphins or any other team for that matter, he's going to be able to ask for a lot more money. You got to remember, there's going to be mediocre quarterbacks that are going to get some outrageous contracts over the next 2 years because the salary cap's going up and player salaries in general are just going up. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with that. Was I surprised to see $160 million? I don't know. I think at the end of the day, the 4 years was what I was surprised at. I figured it would be a little bit longer at 165 or 6 years. But 4 years at 160 mil, it sets it that if he does do good or takes his team to a Super Bowl or deep into the playoffs or gets a few Pro Bowls or whatever it is, I mean, imagine what the contract could look like for Daniel Jones. I guess the question is, do you think Daniel Jones will be a top 10 quarterback in this league 4 years from now? I'd love to, if you want to put that in the chat right now, I'd love to get your thoughts on that. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with that. And if you're thinking about it from the standpoint, Geno Smith did get a better deal on a 3-year deal than Daniel Jones did on a 4-year deal. But at the end of the day, we're talking about mediocre quarterbacks that are getting some big lucrative contracts. So don't be surprised if Tua Tagovailoa, if he were to ball out this year, and I understand that's an if he gets an outrageous deal by the Miami Dolphins next year. So just throw that in the back of your minds there. Other thing that happened yesterday with the New York Giants, they did tag Saquon Barkley. If you remember earlier, I think it was last week in Wednesday, or I think it was Wednesday last week. Might even have been yesterday, Monday of this week. There was a question that was asked on the show, over under, how many running backs do you think will get franchise tagged in the NFL? And the over under was 2. And a lot of us said it'll probably be right at 2, but it's very possible that it could go over to 3, and it did. Three running backs were placed on the franchise tag. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys were all franchise tagged over the last couple of days. So, look, I'm not surprised that Saquon was. Giants think that, they can't really compete with long-term deal, nor do they want to give a long-term deal to a running back. Very lucrative. But hey, we'll pay you in the top 3% of your position for this upcoming year. We'll see how it goes. And if you still it sucks for running backs because they're getting the short end of the stick on this. And it's just disrespectful to running backs. And I don't know if there's anything that the NFLPA can do on behalf of running backs or anything like that. But, I've seen around, a lot of running backs tweeting out in the NFL that this is just the world that they live in, when it comes to contracts for running backs. And, as we talked about yesterday, it's a deep draft class, 13 running backs with a draft grade of 3rd round or higher are coming up in this year's draft. And that doesn't even include that. Remember, some of these guys that got franchised with the franchise tag, they could still be traded, obviously, right? That's still a possibility there. Josh Jacobs very unhappy with what Vegas did to him. We don't know what Saquon thinks. I'm sure he's disappointed with it. But at the end of the day, that could happen. And there's still other potential, Derrick Henry allegedly is being shopped around. Delvin Cook is allegedly being shopped around. And that doesn't include other running backs that are out there on the market. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the running back and the type of contracts that they get moving forward. But I'll say this again, the last 10 running backs that have won Super Bowls, only 3 of them had contracts that were $1 million or more, and only one of them, and it was like $4 million. Only one that was $4 million. And the rest was like, one was 3, the other were 2 or 1, and then everything was below $100 million. So you don't need to go out and get that in order to win a Super Bowl. And I know there's a lot of the fan base that, oh my God, we need a bell cow running back. You don't need a bell cow running back to win a Super Bowl. I'm just throwing that out there, and you can disagree with me all you want. But, I think if we upgrade the offensive line, re-sign Jeff Wilson, I think as Dolphins fans, that should be kind of what we're looking for with that. Will I be upset if we go out and get somebody like Saquon in a trade, or if depending on what the trade was, by the way, just want to throw that out there. Or would I be upset when if we signed a free agent running back? I'm not sure. It would have to be dependent on what kind of contract they're getting, and as far as bell cow is concerned, and what we have to give up to go get them. But again, I'll state you do not need a bell cow running back to win a Super Bowl. Okay, that's just my opinion on that there. Other news: Jets send owner, head coach, and GM and others to meet with Aaron Rodgers in California. Very interesting that this kind of happened. I'll say this: Derek Carr went to New York. Aaron Rodgers is making the Jets come to him. Is this a legitimate thing? I think Aaron Rodgers is willing to listen. Allegedly, his girlfriend lives in New York City. He's open to, moving there with her. I'm interested to see what comes of this. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think that they would even get a chance to talk with Aaron. Based on what I said yesterday, I just don't think that he wants to follow in the footsteps of Brett Favre. And me personally, I'm going to say this. I would be very surprised if Aaron Rodgers ends up in a Jets uniform. I'm not saying it's out of the question. I'm just saying I would be surprised that they pulled it off. But if they do somehow pull it off, it will be because they've had to give up the world for him, and they had to pay him one of the most lucrative contracts in the history of the NFL. Point blank. That would have to happen. So that's what I think it would come down to with that right there. So we'll have to see. Other things that happened around the NFL, the Bucs released left tackle Donovan Smith. Is this somebody the Dolphins could go after? Maybe. Donovan Smith, a lot of Buccaneers fans on social media yesterday, I think they were split down the middle, 50-50. There were Bucs fans that were like, man, I'm glad he's gone. He wasn't that great of a blocker. There were other Bucs fans saying, man, I'm going to miss him. He played hard. He was a good hard worker. He was a likable guy within, the fans as far as just personality is concerned. So I don't know if Donovan Smith is somebody we want the Dolphins to kind of pursue, maybe to back up somebody like Teron Armstead when and if he goes down with another injury. Teron's had a history of injuries throughout the season, along with somebody like Tua, obviously. So I'd like to see what happens with the Donovan Smith situation. What would it cost to get a guy like Donovan Smith to come here to Miami? I'm not sure. So it would be very interesting to kind of see what happens with that. Other big news, linebacker Lorenzo Carter for the Atlanta Falcons signs a 2-year deal, re-signs with the Atlanta Falcons on a 2-year deal. And then obviously another big note, newsworthy note for the Miami Dolphins. They will release cornerback Byron Jones. That's official. I think 90% of the fan base knew that this was coming. It's very interesting to see what happens there, but I'll say this when it comes to Byron. I just think that, he pissed off a lot of people, not only within the fan base, but within the front office too. And I just didn't see that marriage work. And I said there was an outside chance that Vic Fangio wanted to try to sit there and repair that relationship. But after what he said on social media about a week ago, and just obviously what he did this year, I didn't see anything coming. Now, I think over the next few weeks, you're going to see some other things happen. You're going to see some restructuring of contracts. You're going to maybe see another big player or two get released, or fan favorite players maybe even get released. It'll be very interesting to see what happens over the next several weeks leading up to the draft. We're going to have a lot of draft talk, a lot of free agent talk, a lot of what does it look like for Chris Greer? What is he going to be doing with some of these contracts to make cap room? And I'm very interested to see what happens there. So that's recapping the NFL yesterday in a nutshell, and I'm super excited about it. It'll be very interesting to see what goes on. So without further ado, it is Wildin' Out Wednesday. What does that mean? That means that you, the fans, get to come up here on the panel, and you guys control the show for the entire day. And now, if you're a non-Miami Dolphins fan, you can be voted off the panel. If you don't like what somebody's saying on the panel, you can kick them off. You can pay a $10 10-minute timeout to get them out of here for 10 minutes. You can pay $50 to ban them for the day. You can pay $100 to ban them for the week. Whatever it is that they're saying, you guys control what's said on the show today. And it's something that is a lot of fun. I enjoy Wildin' Out Wednesday. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. We ask you to be respectful to the people on the panel, but we want good, fun debates. You guys can go at it. It's good times. And remember, if anybody bans or times out anybody, you pay double to bring them back. And whoever paid at that tier can't pay at that tier again. They have to keep on going up. So if you pay 10 minutes to time out somebody and somebody else or themselves bring them back at $20, you have to go to the next tier at 50, and you keep on moving up and up and up. So it'll be a lot of fun today. Make sure you guys enjoy it. And without further ado, let me drop the link for you guys so y'all can come up here and we can have Wildin' Out Wednesday, the best show of the week. One of my favorite shows of the week. So I am super excited about that. Let me tag the link at the top of the page for you guys. There you go. And you can get up here and let's go ahead and let's talk it out. Let's wild out. All right, man. I don't know what the first thing you guys want to talk about today, but one of the things that obviously a lot of platforms are discussing are, the quarterback situation. It'll be very interesting to see. Cruz, I am the IT department. That would be on me. It'll be very interesting to see how the fan base reacts over the next several weeks to see the quarterback situation. It'll be. I'm very surprised to see what will happen and what should happen when it comes to the quarterback situation. All right, hey, look, nobody came in, but the first person in is a Bills fan. So let me bring him on. Mark, good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, Steven, from the old new locale in New Mexico. I moved from California, so I hadn't had a chance to check the show out because I'm starting kind of at a weird time because now I'm in the mountain central time or mountain time. So
not only did you move, you changed time zones, man.
I've listened a little bit the last few days. I've missed you guys, missed the panel.
Well, today will be a fun day, man. I think it will be. Hey, let me bring on Pete's Take. Good morning, Pete. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Pete.
Pete, you got to get off. There you go, buddy.
Good morning, guys. Happy day. What's up, Mark? What's up,
how are you?
I'm good. But in the sports world, I'm kind of like confused at the same time because, man, you see, we keep on doing the same thing over and over. Look at the fan base, Steven. It feels to me like this fan base is so weak that they do anything to feel good mentally right now. They're out there. Yeah, I told you guys I was right. Byron Jones is going to get cut. Byron Jones is not worth it. He sucks. Bro, Forget about that. It's bigger than that. Byron Jones only played one full season for the Miami Dolphins on the contract that he got. It was an organizational mistake signing Byron Jones. It was. And nobody wants to talk about how bad Greer has hit on these free agents that are supposed to be promised picks. This will be like, let's say we would have got Tyreek Hill and he would have not performed. How would you guys have felt? This is what it was. Byron Jones was a clear free agent that was supposed to be a huge hit for us when we got him in 2019? What year was it? 2019, 2020? Whatever year that was, we got him. Go look at everybody's channel. Go look at TD's stream. Go look at Dudley Do Wrong stream. Look how excited guys were. Oh, this is an organizational best move ever. And we only got 1 year out of this high-priced free agent that robbed Greer. Greer is a laughing stock of the NFL. Nobody believes in him. Nobody would play hurt for him.
That's not true.
And now we're starting to see it. Even the quarterback. What do you mean? Even Tua doesn't want to play hurt for Greer anymore. I'm starting to think Tua does not like Greer. Think about it. He had to switch
Where do you
agents.
get this narrative from?
He had to switch
Greer
agents.
very liked in the organization, dude.
No, and I'm gonna give you facts that nobody is talking about in this fan base. Think about what McDaniel said on his combine interview. He not only said the organization wants, he kind of mentioned and hinted that we need Tua to want us too. I'm telling you, Greer is an organizational disaster that nobody
he's
wants
not.
to pay
No,
attention
he
to.
is not. Disagree. And one of the worst takes you've ever had, bud. Here's the reality of the situation. Chris Greer, in my opinion, is a top GM in all of the NFL. The only question marks, or the biggest question marks, I won't say the only, the biggest question marks or the biggest knock against somebody like Chris Greer would happen to be his talent evaluation, which I remind you all, this man has been in the organization for 20 plus years, right? And so if somebody's been in the organization for close to 20 years or 20
Steven,
years,
I get it.
You're having some of the same scouts that are staying in that department. But overall, the man is a genius when it comes to contract negotiations. For the most part, he's hit on most.
Steven.
Hit on all of them, but he's hit on most of them. He's done really good in most trades. He's whiffed on some. All right, and he's had some good picks and whiffed on a lot. Ultimately, I think he's in the top third of GMs in the NFL. That's my opinion.
Steven,
that Chris
look
Greer
at the position
is
that he has Tua. You're
ridiculous.
ignoring the Tua segment with Greer. Look, Steven, if me and you are buddies, you hired me. You're the general manager of this organization. You believed in Pete. And then when Pete is come here to get a raise, my buddy Steven is not believing in Pete anymore, to the point where I have to switch agents to try to get money out of you. Are you my buddy? Do you even believe in me like you're telling us? There's something behind the door. McDaniel let it out in the combine.
What did McDaniel say that made you question anything about Chris Greer?
McDaniel said about Tua that not only does our organization need to figure out and come up with something, but Tua also needs to want us too. He's throwing that out there. Listen to it clearly.
So here's what I heard from the combine with Mike McDaniel, that at the end of the day, they are going to do everything they can to look for a backup quarterback. They're excited.
No, we're talking about the Tua. And he also mentioned that Tua needs to want to do it market too. I'm telling you, there's a fall off Greer. And we have many other names. Eric Flowers, Cal Van Noy. How many free agents that were supposed to be guaranteed hits failed on us? You guys are talking about, not you, because I know you got a personal relationship. Shout out to Agba. I don't have a problem with Emmanuel Agba. He's a good run stopper.
I don't have a personal relationship.
He's a good run stopper, and he's a good edge setter. But now, if you ask Pete, what don't you like about Agba? He's not a very good pass rusher.
Agba got hurt this year.
Yeah, but that's all I'm saying.
He got
paid. But he got paid.
He deserves the contract.
Played. Come on. Like, we can't keep doing this. We cannot keep going through this.
Here's the problem, Pete. Most fans at the end of the day,
we drafted Tua, who was injury prone.
Pete, listen, most fans at the end of the day have given the Dolphins such a hard time over the years for not giving the bag or a contract to a player that's earned it here. It was before Chris Greer, the narrative with the Miami Dolphins, they'll give a contract to any free agent outside of the organization, but they will never give a contract to somebody that's earned it within the organization. That's changed with Chris Greer. That is rightfully changed with Chris Greer. Jerome Baker got a good contract. He was the leading tackler of our team. Look, at the end of the day,
dude, Jerome Baker's contract was an organizational disaster.
No, it was not.
He's one of the highest. I like Baker. I do like Baker, but at best, that contract was not worth it. You know, we could have easily moved off of him and got a compensatory pick or something in free agency and try to find a new linebacker. Look where we're at now. You guys are begging for Bobby Wagner and Levante Davis, two of the oldest guys in the NFL. Jerome Baker at 26 in his prime. You guys want him out of here. Vic Fangio's going to trade him. I'm giving you guys a little hint right now. Vic Fangio's getting rid of Jerome Baker. He doesn't fit this scheme.
I'm not saying that that's not the case or not. There are some people that follow the team a lot that say that it's a very good possibility that, you know, they just wipe out the entire linebacking room minus Channing Tindall and just go with a whole new linebacking core. I don't see that happening personally, but I'm not saying I would be surprised if that happens. At the end of the day, I'm going to trust Fangio. Whatever Fangio decides to do, I'll support him.
Oh, don't give me that, Steven. You just like you trusted Applebaum last year.
Everybody thinks that, look, at the end of the day, Applebaum was totally different hire. Look, what played out is another one-year offensive line coach. But the reality was I was excited for him because he had a Boston College football team in the top 10 in all of college football on offensive line. I was like, man, if he can do that with Boston College and make them a top 10 team in all of college football on offensive line, I was excited what he could do here with Miami. It didn't work out. Now, am I upset that they keep on having a revolving door? They've had 9 offensive line coaches in the last 10 years, the Miami Dolphins. That's not just on McDaniel. That's not just on Greer. That's the reality of the overturn, the revolving door that is Miami Dolphins when it comes to head coach, player personnel, so on and so forth. But and coaches, obviously. So, look, the coach that I'll tell you this, the coach that they got now, the offensive line coach that they got from Denver, I question it to a certain extent because allegedly there were players on social media saying this guy's a clown. Can't believe this guy got a job.
You believe that? And Butch Berry's a really good coach. You should actually be hyped up more than Butch Berry than you did with Applebaum.
McDaniel likes him. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to question McDaniel on a lot of things right now because he's still coming off his first year as a head coach, and he did a lot of things that I like offensively. He was never in charge of the defensive side, and he won't be on this team either. So that's the reality of the situation that we're in. So I don't know what you want me to say. In my opinion, the Dolphins have never.
Greer has screwed us, bro. He failed his rebuild. Stop. Look at we were supposed to be counting on Byron Jones this upcoming year, if healthy, and he came back, right? That was going to be our corner piece. That's our
didn't work out.
We actually imagine. Oh my God, Steven! Imagine we would have traded Xavier Howard and been through this hot mess with no cornerbacks when our team was actually built with cornerbacks. We could have suffered even more if we would have gave away Xavier Howard when we wanted to. Thank God it fell off, and Greer got saved.
How did Greer get? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Pete. I feel like you're trying to cause panic at a place where there needs to be no panic.
No, I'm not causing anything. I'm pointing out factual events that has happened throughout the years under Greer.
It is your viewpoint.
So you're telling me that Byron Jones, the guy that only played one full season for the Dolphins, was a good organizational free agent pickup at the time?
It whiffed. It whiffed. It sucks that it happened the way
and how many more?
Better yet, did he retire?
If we keep on whiffing on, hold on, Cap, for life, please give me a second. If we keep on whiffing,
Pete, you had more than a second. You've been up here talking all day.
How can we trust this guy?
Good morning, Steven.
Did we not whiff on Teron Armstead?
And by the way, F Day.
Did we? Hey, hold on, bro. Wait your turn, bro. You got guys like Dave that are here, Caslin that are here before you. You know, hold on 1 second. Steven, did we not whiff already on Teron Armstead?
No.
Bye, Pete. Have a nice day.
Thank you for saving us. Aldo, you are the man.
All
By the
day.
way,
I'll see you in 10 minutes.
Hey,
They
but he
didn't
does have a point though, because
No,
they didn't
Byron,
ish.
no point.
Byron
No
Jones
point
was supposed to
was made at all.
retire. Hey, but Byron Jones was supposed to retire. He got released.
Okay, tomatoes. He's not
Well,
on the team.
he wasn't going to retire because then he would owe the Dolphins $3-point-something million. He ain't going to retire for that.
I tried. I got nothing.
Actually, it wasn't going to be 13. It was going to be around $14 million. He would owe the Dolphins.
And look, I'll tell you, at the end of the day, he shot himself in the foot, figuratively speaking, because of the tweet that he put out.
Too early, Stephen. Too early.
It is too early. But, I mean, he did saying what he said. At the end of the day, it did, man. Look, I don't get why fans want to take certain viewpoints of how they view a certain thing and fit it and try to make it to fit their narrative. Because in my opinion, the Dolphins in the last 20 years have never been in a better position than they are right now.
Hold on, guys. I do need to apologize to the Tuaneers and the Tua fan base, right? Because I was misspoken. I've been spreading a narrative saying that he has not accomplished anything as a Dolphin. So after speaking to my homies that keep me grounded, shout out to Maurice, shout out to Mo, shout out to Monroe, shout out to artists.
Oh, you're welcome, Vaughn. No, you ain't have to do that.
Hold on, no, Dad, you ain't ish. But Tua did have an accomplishment as a Dolphin. He did have an accomplishment as a Dolphin. He was player of the week, I think week 2 or week 5.
Oh, okay.
So he did have an accomplishment. He was player of the week. So
that doesn't matter.
I do apologize, but it's an accomplishment, I guess.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he got a trophy and got slimed.
When the time comes and you need to put the team on his back, he ain't gonna be able to do it. So
listen, I said that he hasn't accomplished nothing, and I was misspoken. So again, I'm man enough to come up here and sit there and say I am correcting myself. He did have one accomplishment.
That's inspiring growth, bro.
He was player of the week. And got slimed. He got slimed
multiple times.
Exactly. I think it was like week 2 and 5.
3 times last year.
3 times? Okay. Exactly. Yep. He got slimed. So shout out to him.
So Nickelodeon looked out.
No, it wasn't Nickelodeon. It was the FedEx Air Player of the week.
Yes, it was the FedEx Air Player. There you go. So shipping with FedEx. There you go.
Okay.
They won't damage your packages.
Right. If you're gonna do it, get it right. Okay.
No, I'm just saying. Again, FedEx doesn't have a habit of slamming people.
Actually, it was 4 times. It was 3 times with FedEx, and it was 1 time with Nickelodeon getting slimed. So there you go. There's 4 accomplishments, Fonjo.
There you go. Players of the week.
I'm just saying, man.
You can't take that away from him,
that guy.
Exactly.
You can't take that away.
It was all at the beginning of the season.
I can't.
What are we doing here, bro? We're talking about slime, bro. We're talking about Nickelodeon
at the beginning of the season. Just in case anybody want to reference that, if it didn't happen, all you have to do is look at the early part of the season. That's where you'll see his players of the weeks. Just in case anybody want to debate it, we're not debating facts here, guys. So shout out to Tua. Slime game.
Shout out to Tua.
Based on, I love when people talk about facts in chat. Tua's hated for a reason. It's not just because we don't like the guy or whatever. I personally like the kid.
I do not hate him. I do not know him.
I personally like the kid. I think he's a good
I don't
kid
hate
all
him.
around.
Listen, I don't hate him. I don't like him because I don't personally know him. For all I know, behind the scenes, I only see him on the football field. I never met him personally. I never had a conversation with him personally. So I don't have no of those strong feelings towards him. I just evaluate off what I see on the field, because at the end of the day, the man could be a complete weirdo behind the scenes.
No, he's a good kid. He definitely is a good kid. I'm not.
We thought Deshaun Watson was a great kid. He was a Model A citizen. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, this man was sitting here.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Steven, do you know Tua personally? Let's go there. Do you know him personally?
But then we're talking about on the field.
Okay, then. So before Deshaun Watson allegations came out, before he said he wanted to get traded, was he a model citizen? Did you hear anything about him?
No.
Okay, then. So this is what I'm saying. We act like we know these guys personally, like they part of our family. No, all we know is of them of the field. That's it.
Okay.
But we get personal.
What is the point?
Hold on. What I'm saying is we get personal. We attack other people personal, like we know him personally. I'm saying I don't know him personally, so I don't hate him.
Okay, so time out.
Like
so Vonjo,
my feelings
Vonjo,
of him.
When I come up here,
let me finish my statement. My feeling of him is based off the field.
I want to get some clarification from you.
Go ahead,
when I
brother.
come up here and talk trash about no Igbenogany, am I talking about that man personally, or am I saying, hey man,
you're calling him trash, bro? That's an insult.
That's not
Steven.
He's talking about his play, bro. Don't reach, bro. He's talking about his play.
Hold on. When you say no Igbenogany's trash, right? Do people attack your family? Do people attack you personally? Do people start spitting vitriol and wishing that you go die and go fall off a cliff somewhere?
I never said that. Those words never came out of my mouth.
No. Do people say that?
To me?
But again, when people even mention Tua in a negative light, or it could be perceived as negative, people get attacked personally, and you don't even know this man personally.
Look,
because he's polarizing.
That is look. That is problem.
So we need to fix ourselves as a society.
No, that's true. I'm not denying that, and fans need to do a better job of that. But I also think it's fans. Here's something that I think players and fans disagree on. Fans will come and say, "Hey, look, I pay money for tickets. I pay money for merchandise, X, Y, and Z. If I want to say that a player's playing horribly, I'm going to say that. But I think there is a line to that. All right, and that line is when you start talking about that man as far as
when you start disrespecting, that's when it's not good, bro.
I agree. Because
this is starting to go beyond football, bro.
When it goes beyond football,
you're going beyond football.
I have a problem with it once it goes beyond football. But when we keep it football, and even when somebody critiques them in a football manner, and you attack the person that critiques them in a personal manner,
they still
beyond
take it
football. Okay, you have an issue. Dude, you need to evaluate yourself. You need to go look in the mirror and check yourself. Because again, you don't know this man personally. You don't know him. Behind the scenes, he could be at home being a complete weirdo for all you know.
No, you're right, Vonjo. I mean, everybody should keep it football. It should always stay football. It should never go
exactly. But I'm just saying,
football. I mean, this channel is literally about football. So to talk about anything other than football is wrong.
Well, the problem is, DC, when you get into a heated debate and it doesn't go in the favor of the person who's getting debated on, it usually ends up being with insults and disrespect. No,
that's childish and that's petty ass behavior. I mean, that's separate from football. That's why when some people go back and forth, sometimes you'll hear me chime in and be like, "Yo, y'all handle that elsewhere. Let us continue our football conversation."
And I'm gonna be man enough to admit when somebody goes down that dark hole with them, I'm not gonna shine the light. I'm gonna go right down that dark hole with you. Goddamn it! All right. If you want to be on demon time, if you want to be on demon time, guess what? I was born in the darkness. This is nothing new to me.
Exactly. I have chosen to go a new route. I have chosen to go a new path on this pilgrimage I've been taking the past 48 hours. I've seen the light, and I've also seen the dark.
Nah, whatever energy you give me, that's the energy. I am nothing but a mirror. I will reflect your energy. And sometimes I'll turn into a funhouse mirror and just make it even worse.
I'm going to support this team to the fullest, to the very end.
Be picking on
Cap, are you trolling or do you really mean that, Cap?
We got no choice, bro. I've been doing this for 3 years, bro. You think I'm tired of saying I told you so? I'm tired, bro. I want
Cap,
the
just be like
effect,
me, man.
bro.
You see how relaxed I am? I'm going on vacation tomorrow. Today's my last day of work. I'm about to clock in a few minutes. Lower, and this is not bothering me. I heard about what happened with Lamar Jackson. I'm not bothered. I hear what's going on with Tua.
I told you
because again,
Vonjo, what have I been saying for a long time?
You know who's really bothering you guys?
I'm going to lower my
really bothering you guys? It's other fans that are really bothering you guys. It's not anybody else.
No, what's bothering me is Derrick Henry's out there, and we're debating on getting Derrick Henry because of the cost. We're worried about salary cap ramifications in the Super Bowl window.
Steven, that stat that you put out, the last 10
running backs in the NFL, only 3 of them or 4 of them made $1 million or more, and only 1 of them made $4 million or more.
Who was the quarterbacks of those last?
Those last. You don't need
whatever. It doesn't matter.
Bro, I don't care about that, bro. I care about bell cows like Leonard Fournette winning Super Bowls.
My statement said, you do not need a bell cow running back to win a Super Bowl.
Leonard Fournette won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay.
He was not a bell cow running back, sir.
Keep saying that to yourself, Steven.
Hold on. Hold on.
No, I can't let that ride. Leonard Fournette was a bust before he got to the Bucs. So why are we acting like he was
because he's a Super Bowl champion? When they were about to lose that game, they used him when Tom Brady was on the bench.
Also had the GOAT. He also had the GOAT,
bro.
Yeah, he was on the bench when they made that touchdown, bro.
Leonard Fournette is not the reason they won that Super Bowl, Cap. Don't come on, bro.
He was not the reason they didn't win either, bro. He helped Tom Brady, bro.
Stop capping, son.
When you have the guy.
So tell me why Tony Pollard got franchised. Tell me why freaking Saquon got franchised. Why are all these running backs are so-called mediocre getting franchised?
Because running backs are straight disrespected in the NFL.
Nobody says Tony Pollard.
Come on, man. That's not a reason, bro.
You and me were clamoring for Tony Pollard.
You and me were clamoring for Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard gets signed and franchised.
What's the franchise tag?
I love Tony Pollard.
What's the franchise tag for a running back?
Look, here's a reality of the situation. Teams do not want to pay big money and long-term contracts. Big money and long-term contracts to running backs. So the reality is Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and Tony Pollard, those guys deserve good contracts. But teams don't want to pay it. So it's easier. Hold on. It's easier for a team to franchise tag him, pay him in the top 3% of what's already an underpaid position in the NFL, and then say, hey, prove it again to us this year. What are the odds that all three of those guys have great seasons again? All three of them.
I just want to know what's the franchise tag for a running back.
$10 million.
10 mil? That's it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And you still got to pay Henry regardless, bro. That's a steal, bro. We're not even talking 15. We're not even talking 13.
You still got to give draft picks, sir.
Cap, what are you talking about?
You with your draft cap, bro. Oh my God, Steve, you want everything, bro.
Cap,
you want to have the salary cap perfectly aligned. You want the freaking draft capital to be at your expense. You don't want to take any type of risk whatsoever for a proven player, a proven commodity, bro.
Did we take risks to go get Tyreek Hill? Yes, we did.
Hold on, Steven. Hold on,
sure did.
You can't franchise tag a player that's not on your roster.
We can't get Jalen Ramsey. We can't get Bobby Wagner. We can't get Derrick Henry. We can't get anybody that's out there that's proven. Let me be quiet.
Cap, were you not just up here 5 seconds ago saying you guys want Larry David? You guys want all these long guy veterans.
Larry David.
Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner's
from HBO, bro.
That Larry David's in.
He's from HBO. What are you talking about?
Or
Cap.
David.
Cap,
David.
brother. Let me help you out, brother. All right. Do like me and just lower your expectations, brother.
I guess.
And you too could just be chilling in a hammock and relaxing.
I guess, bro. With
the water fountain in the background.
I want to do that, bro. I'm tired of telling you.
I meant David Long. Sorry. I don't know why it said Larry David.
You were thinking freaking Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, I was gonna say Larry David.
My man, I would keep on saying Larry David.
I was gonna say, is he about to come coach for us? Is he coaching? Is he advising for us?
I guess, man. I
hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't wear pants.
I don't understand why Cap in one breath is saying that you guys want David Long and how horrible that is, but 2 seconds later he's saying let's go get Bobby Wagner. We're saying we can't go get Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner's a free agent. He got released. Yes, we can go get him.
Steven, money talks, right?
Yes, bullshit walks.
So
swear jar on me.
Jeez.
Swear jar on me.
Jesus Christ. I need you to relax, guys. The Dolphins got you guys way too wound up.
You're too tense.
So money talks. So we paid Fangio more than we paid McDaniel, allegedly. So if our coaching gets their way, chances are Fangio is probably going to build out his defense versus us getting offensive pieces.
We got pieces.
Right? Versus getting offensive pieces. I feel like Fangio is going to build out his linebacking core, his secondary. So that's the moves I see happening in free agency. And when it comes to the draft, we probably got to get young offensive pieces. That's probably going to be needing getting developed. So do not be surprised if we go O-line in the draft. Even though the O-line
God, please no, God.
I'll take all O-line. I don't even care at this point. We only got 5 picks anyway. I would do it.
But Cap, how do you trust them to draft offensive linemen?
Cap, but
this is a window, my friend. If not now, when? DC,
Cap,
if not now, when? This is what's going to save us.
Hold on. I'm giving you some saving
like I said,
grace.
They can draft anything else. I don't trust him to do
Dave, I'm going to give you a saving grace. Also, free agency, we're seeing O-linemen getting released left and right in free agency. right? Some of them that will be good pieces for us. So if next week you see us making these O-lineman moves, we're gonna go defense in the draft.
That's fine. Like I said, I think at this point, with your window that we're so worried about, you gotta maximize that. And why would you sit there and try to take a chance on an offense, drafting an offensive lineman instead of going to go get
me personally?
Hold on,
I say fix the trenches by all means necessary. Fix the trenches.
I would, and with those two positions, I think those are two free agents that you should be going to go look at, a guard and the right tackle, instead of going to a draft and hoping that they work out. Go get the proven commodity. Now your O-line is fixed. Then go do draft and do whatever else.
You know, Greer told you Eichenberg is proven.
You can say that about every position, though.
Boy, but we can't trust them. But we can't trust them with the O-line. That's been proven.
The irony of all this is, we freak out about the hypotheticals that we throw out there, but you guys are doing the same thing with the draft and the combine. It's the exact same thing. You're hoping and praying, which you never end up getting.
You're right, Cap. But I wouldn't say they don't know how to draft offensive linemen. I would say they don't know how to develop, because they've brought in offensive linemen that were successful in other places. So that's one thing to look at. I'm done with Austin Jackson, but that's not saying another team ain't, and they can develop him into something he should be, because Lord knows he can't survive in Miami. He's a good backup.
Okay, if I'm being fair, I can agree with that.
There's been linemen that got cut by Miami and went otherwhere and developed it to talent.
Well,
that's what Rashad just said.
Picked up for me is the guy from the Raiders,
Illuminor.
Illuminor.
So regardless, that still builds my
training camp, and he goes and starts all the games for the Raiders and is one of the PFF highest graded offensive line that year. That pissed me off. That one did.
About
but Steven, do you see what I mean? That still builds my argument. If we can't develop them, then what's the point in drafting them? Get the proven commodity and free agency and draft everything else.
Dade County, that goes to,
because if you say that, they don't like when you say microwave.
County, they develop Robert Hunt and Michael Dieter.
One of the issues that's wrong is 9 offensive line coaches in 10 years. There's no consistency. Nobody in this organization.
That's facts.
Nobody in this organization, and I don't want to say with this regime. Okay, it's not fair to this regime. So I'll say in the past, they don't know what.
Oh no! This regime is not part of it. No, this regime is not part of it.
All right. So they you know what? That's fair.
They contributed to that 9 out of 10.
They did contribute to 9 out of 10.
So they are now part of it.
But what I will say is there hasn't been anybody here consistently enough in the offensive line room to keep on developing these guys every year. What happens in the first year? You learn about a guy, you see their ups and downs, you see how well they do things, you see what happens when they're, pressed up against the wall. And then in the offseason, you're able to say, well, this guy did great this year, or this guy failed and this year, or this guy needs to get better, or I don't see this guy getting better at all. 9 out of the last 10 years, there's somebody new, so they have to come in and do the first year all over again. There's been no consistency in the offensive line room. None at all.
I mean, that's fair.
Steven, do you really think this guy Butch is going to be here next year? Let me help you out. No.
Track record shows no, but
he's not.
But here, I'll say this. We talk about Mike McDaniel. We talk about players like Ryan Tannehill getting 7 years here, right? And saying, oh, he stayed here too long. Why not just cut bait? We talk about Noah Igbenogany. Why is Noah staying here long term? Or why is he given 3 years? So on and so forth, right? Mm-hmm. I look at the situation with offensive linemen and offensive line coaches. If something's not working out, just get them out of there. And so I'll say that McDaniel saw that this that Matt Applebaum wasn't working out for whatever he wanted to do and got him out. And so with his first year, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. But if next year we end up getting a new offensive line coach, I have no idea what the issue is, but something is terribly wrong.
I'm telling you, we're getting a new O-line coach next year. The only person
that doesn't happen.
The only person that is high on this person on this O-line coach is Pete, and that's saying a lot.
That is true.
That's the only person I've heard. I've actually been excited about this hire, and that's Pete.
Butch Berry.
Okay. That is saying a lot. So just on that notion alone, he is gone next year.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Pete is back. Good morning, Pete. Welcome back.
Hey, Pete, speak of the devil. What is this, my guy?
Pete!
Pete's
Take yourself off mute. Take yourself off mute, Pete.
You might not even know who he is.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, Pete ain't cooking nobody. Stop it.
So, hey.
I actually like the
I'm just saying,
conversation.
you know he about to go at you, bro.
Well, one thing I like is the continuity, because I disagree with Von Joe, and I think all of us up here actually agree with that. Because when you think about it, Coach Butch Berry, our new offensive line coach, we're going to be in the same
like
system.
saying his name. You just like saying his
I'm
name.
convinced. Yeah,
no,
that's what it is.
Coach Butch Berry is going to be more involved.
Pete!
No, hey, that's the same one.
Damn, that's cold, bro. That's cold.
No, he doesn't.
Pay 20.
No,
Yeah,
no, he doesn't.
That's if he pays his way back.
That's if he pays his way back. Pete never paid his way back. Nobody paid Pete.
Boy, y'all boys up here early with the kicking people out. Dang.
Hey, Aldo is not
I don't know. Those rules are weird then, because he just did it twice for the same thing.
Yeah, Aldo's not about it.
All right. Hey, Caslin, here are the rules. You can kick somebody out multiple times, but if that person or somebody on that person's behalf pays double to bring them back, then that person can no longer kick them off at that tier.
Exactly. So
there's no more 10-minute kick out.
There's no more 10-minute kick out for all those if somebody brings back Pete or Pete brings himself back at $20. Okay.
So so Butch Berry is not going to be here next year. Steven, let me help you out there. Okay.
Man, look, I'll say this.
Tell you the truth. If we go 9-8, listen, nobody's gonna be here next year. At that point, Ross needs to do the right thing and just tear everything down.
All right, so you know what? That brings up a good question. What? And I'll ask this to the panel. What is a successful season for you guys next year?
Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl. What the hell are we doing here? Super Bowl, bro.
AFC Championship.
Now, if I'm being realistic,
all this argument for what, a championship game only?
If I'm being realistic,
I'm being realistic. AFC Championship.
A division, win the division, and win a playoff game.
If you win the division, you win a playoff. If you win the division, win a playoff game, especially if we're the AFC East, chances are we're stronger.
So now we're settling. Okay, all right.
I mean, say we win a game and we run up against the Chiefs.
I think either
I wouldn't be upset if I lost.
I think either win 2 playoff games or win the division and win a playoff game. I think that should be
championship, and we could only lose to the Chiefs. That's the only saving grace I'm giving us.
Noob says if your expectations are in Super Bowl every year, you're a trash fan. I don't think that's fair.
What?
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
What, Noob? Noob, usually me and you on the same page, but my guy, no.
I like you, Noob, so I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
At the end of the day, this is what you need to be. You need to be a Super Bowl contender. All right? You need to be in the talks of Super Bowl. And that's not at the beginning of the season. I'm talking about by week 10 and beyond, you need to be in Super Bowl talks. That last quarter of the year, teams, ESPN, national media, us, our content providers need to be like, okay, the Dolphins are Super Bowl contenders. Last year, we were not Super Bowl contenders. And the last quarter of the year, we just completely fell off the face of the earth. We came from, hey, number one in the whole entire AFC at the halfway point, and then the Great Collapse.
The Great Collapse. I love that.
I dubbed it the Great Collapse. So, no, next year, we need to be Super Bowl contenders starting week, call it 13, 14. The last quarter of the year. Dang it.
Yeah.
You need to be Super Bowl contenders. You need to. They need to be talking to you like, yo, the Dolphins are that squad. They need to be feared. They're gonna make a push in the playoffs. They're Super Bowl contenders.
I want to see a more high-power offense because clearly we got figured out and all that stuff got shut down. So they need to open up the offense. Vic Fangio needs to put a staple on this defense to where we're at least top 15. With the offense we had last year and the top 15 defense, that should make us Super Bowl contenders.
You would think.
No, really think. No, guys, think about our schedule. It's easy for us to be Super Bowl contenders, be considered Super Bowl contenders if we beat the proper teams. I.e., we go against KC, who was in the Super Bowl. We go against the Eagles, who were in the Super Bowl, and we go against all these teams, these high-powered teams that are respected.
Yep, 100%. Got to win those.
If we beat those teams, how can we not be in Super Bowl talks?
It won't be real for me until we're not waiting for somebody else to lose, or we gotta sit there and desperately wait on the last couple of games.
Exactly. But that's in the last quarter.
I want to be in like little over mid-season. I want to be in. Oh, the Dolphins are in the playoffs. That's what I want.
That happens.
I don't believe. I am just waiting.
We were sitting 8-3, and we had beat Buffalo. We were like, "This is it." And then we went to the West Coast, and we lost 5 straight after that.
We could be
but
like
that's what I'm saying. They show me that we don't have to wait till the last 2 games to get into the season. Bro, I'm just rolling with the punches, and I'm not getting myself riled up.
We could be like the 2010 Chargers and have the number 1 defense and number 1 offense and not make playoffs.
You hear that bird in my background? You hear that crow in my background?
Yeah, I do, man. I was like, who the hell has a bird in their background?
That's the crow that I had for the end of last season that I was ready to eat. Look at him, he's just flying around. No, I was ready to eat. I thought I was going to eat crow. I thought Tua was gonna make me eat crow. I thought we was gonna turn up.
Bird in their background.
Yeah, that's the crow that I had. I had the crow ready. I had it. Listen, he's still alive and he's celebrating like y'all talking about the Dolphins, bro. Them boys got me still alive out here, Captain.
That's crazy.
Exactly. He's talking shit right now. Look at him, square jaw.
Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. It is Wildin' Out Wednesday. Having a good time up here. We got the full panel. If you guys want to get on in the chat, the link is up at the top. There's more room on the panel here. We can get up here. All right, let me ask you guys another question. What do you want to see the Dolphins do in free agency? What is the most important free agent position for them to address?
O-lineman.
Go talk to Lamar. Go talk to Aaron Rodgers.
I've given up on that. I've given up on that. And I'm going to sit there and say this because the homie TD said it best. The Dolphins cannot sit there and put in an offer for Lamar Jackson.
They can.
Because, hold on, Kazan, let me finish the statement, sir. If they go put in an offer for Lamar Jackson, and let's say the offer gets matched by Baltimore and he returns back home to Baltimore.
We just said Tua.
Exactly. That is a major state.
We told you we're with you.
Pretty much, exactly. Our hands are once again caught in the cookie jar, flirting with other quarterbacks, not really having faith in Tua like we said we did. Listen, we can't do that. We can't. Yeah. I'm sorry, gentlemen.
Yeah. That's because Tua's ego is so fragile that the kid needs to be picked up the whole time.
Why does it always come back to Tua's fragile?
Whether it's that or not,
you kill me, man. You are like it is the issue that I have with fans. I asked the question, what do we need to address as far as free agents are concerned? And you made the conversation revert back to Tua.
No, because hey, it just shows what the most important problem is. It's the most important problem on this team.
Can I say something about that? Can I say something about that? This fragile dude that you speak of went through the offseason, looking at himself in the mirror, got talked about all offseason. Every offseason of his career, we tried to get another quarterback. He came back angry. And when he was angry to it, was when he was his best. When he was
I'm not going to say angry. He was more sassy. He was more sassy.
Sassy too. When he was sassy too, like talking to the media and all that. That's when he was his best. And then I started seeing him smile. I didn't say nothing about it until right now. When he started smiling because everybody was embracing him, he fell off. So talk as much crap as y'all want.
He was feeling himself, and he just
that's when he fell off.
And the NFL
sassy tool was murdering people.
Look. That bird, by the way, is very annoying, Bonjo. It is the worst.
Let me go inside. All right, because I guess he's up here talking all this trash. Talking all that trash.
All right, so
I don't think half of the fans
was Tua 8-1 at one point. Is that what I'm thinking?
hold on. Did he not also have a head coach that coddled him and talked him up and told him he was the greatest thing since sliced bread before he even got there?
Well, what do you want? The year before that, he had a head coach that didn't believe in him. This year, he had a head coach
that
hold on. Too much.
Hold on.
What do you want from the man?
Well,
what do you want from me?
Consistency and availability. Consistency and availability.
Hey, Gaz, you're gone for the day. Peace out, my guy.
Holy crap!
I love conversation progression. If Tua is rent free for you, then just cry to yourself. Adios, Gaz. Cruz and
David Carr.
You gotta pay double.
Hey, I'm not even bringing it up to her because again, I'm done talking about the young man. Move on.
Person, yeah.
I'm full.
Did you hear the crow? Did you hear the crow? Every time you mention Tua.
I am full. I don't want to talk about him anymore. Next, fix the trenches. Let's just fix the trenches. Let's try doing something new for
We
me.
got 5 more months of this, BJ.
Gaz with the personal attacks, not based on any facts.
Give me an upgrade at right tackle. I'm good with Robert Jones. Move Dieter and Jackson to the bench. Let them rotate because you know Armstead gonna get hurt. Bring my running backs back. And yeah.
Oh no, they're already coming back. If you're gonna get upset about that, go ahead and start throwing tantrums now. Mostert already talking like he's coming back.
He needs to.
So Mostert's coming back.
The Dolphins not winning. They can come back, but the Dolphins won't be winning a Super Bowl. They won't even be in the AFC Championship game
because of the running back situation.
What?
Absolutely.
No. Whoa.
What?
You know what? Let me not.
I'm asking what?
Don't worry about it, Roger.
Yes, please do. I'm intrigued right now.
Respectfully, I wanted to speak with Von Joe because I was on here doing my final thoughts with Steph like 2 or 3 days ago, whatever. And Von Joe was in the comments, not to be aggressive, but I'm just speaking facts. I'm coming.
Wow, hold up, Kaz with the $100.
I told you he'd be back.
Permission from your wife next time Cruz to spend money, then better in.
Cruz needs to spend more money than that if he thinks he's gonna kick me off. The dude needs permission from his wife to get money to spend money.
Gee.
So bring it on. I guarantee you ain't gonna outbid me, dude.
I'm convinced.
I make $4K a week, dude. Bring it on, bitch.
Hey, Cash.
No name calling. No name calling. Come on now.
Yo, I'm convinced Cash is the richest.
Hey, he's the first one to do it to me. He does it to me every time I say something. The dude, I live rent free in his head.
Cash pays his way back.
Listen, clearly, ain't nobody living rent free. First off, rent free is not a thing. Rent is way too high for you guys to be using that terminology.
I told y'all. I said
ain't nothing free in America.
Exactly, y'all talk some rent free. Clearly, you haven't seen the rent. You haven't seen rent now.
Kaz is the boogeyman.
I need to change my profession. $4,000 a week.
Steven, I was driving down the street of 192. And I saw a 1-bedroom going for $2,400, and I was like, "Excuse me,
bro,
jeez,
I'm telling you,
$2,400 for a 1-bedroom,
bro.
Welcome to California.
That's why I don't live in Florida, bro.
My cousin paid $1,700 for a 1-bedroom.
Bro, that's almost $1,000 more than my mortgage.
Y'all want to know what I paid for it? $2,100 for 394 square feet. That's a box.
Hey man, virtual hug, Rashad. Virtual hug.
At least I had a gym and a pool downstairs,
But check this out, guys. I redid my kid's room, and I'll give you a second to go ahead and attack me. So my kids are huge into Mario, right, Steven? So the little girl, my little girl's room.
There we go.
I did her in Princess Peach colors.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, nice.
With some princesses. I haven't gotten the furniture in yet.
You gotta get some Super Mario fatheads. You put them in there.
Yeah, those are coming in.
You painted yourself? You painted yourself?
Yeah, I painted it myself. Yeah.
You did good.
I heard they got a Super Mario World.
The boys, I did Mario/Luigi.
That's actually
I heard that in Japan, bro. I heard they got a Super Mario World.
Right, so I replayed. These were all black drawers that I made Mario colors.
CB83
Luigi.
says Big Bank take Lil Bank.
Luigi. I change the wall plates to Toad. Even the plug outlets is the little Mario Gold bricks. And the fatheads are about to come in.
You're not messing around.
Mario.
Yeah, I like to be, putting in my early bid for Father of the Year.
You make me want to be a better father, Vonjo. I suck.
All the dads out here look bad.
I just buy stuff. That's all I do. I just buy stuff. I feel like such a failure.
Bro, I had an idea.
All I can think of was the Super Mario music there. Do.
Yeah, they're big Mario. My older son is 10. He's he's coding already. So he does. I send him to coding class every Saturday. So he's a gamer. He likes to code, and he got the other ones into it. So they're big Mario people. So,
all right, back to
Walt.
Go
ahead.
To Dolphin talk.
Yeah, Walt had beef with me.
Yo. No, because I was yeah, my
Dolphin needs Super Mario.
Who took him?
You feel me? I said,
Steven, your take sucks.
yeah, I said my
that's
closing
the
statement.
Bonjo, yours are even worse. Cat, you're too quiet. I don't like any of y'all.
And two, Esteban, I just want you to fix your mic for once.
Here's my take.
Esther, you know what's been quiet?
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Shut your face.
Walt Dog.
All y'all shut your face.
Walt Dog is talking. Hold on, Esteban. Walt
You
Dog,
saw
go
that
ahead.
U.S. missile take out that tanker?
What? Dude, Walt Dog is talking. Hold on. Go
Go ahead, Walt. I'm sorry.
Nah, y'all good. But because I was doing my closing statement 2 or 3 days ago on Steph stuff, and Vonjo was in the comments saying get off, which is whatever. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. All right, but what I was saying is that the Dolphins should not be running it back with the same running backs. Like Jeff Wilson, I have no problem running it back with Jeff Wilson because he was a 5th round pick. Like that is capital. So we almost have to bring him back. You feel me? Like,
by the way, Walt Dog,
almost bring him back. If we don't bring him back, that's a wasted pick. Let's be real, right? No,
I'll bring him back on the cheap.
You get what I'm saying?
But I got a proposition, and it's a good segue into my take. I say we trade
your mic
trade Wilkins.
Reverb.
Bro, why are you yelling?
Okay, trade Wilkins. Can you hear me? We're gonna trade Wilkins. We're gonna offer Zach Silas some money. We're gonna get someone dirt cheap. We're gonna get a dirt cheap tackle, defensive tackle, and we're gonna get a 1st round pick for Wilkins. We're gonna trade it away. We're gonna trade away a 2nd round pick from next year's draft, and we're gonna move up into the draft, and we're gonna get Bijan Robinson. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we should be doing.
What about Gibbs? You guys
There's
like
a time now to just get that elite running back. Just go get my boy Bijan. Texas has blessed y'all with Ricky Williams, so let's go get Bijan and let's do it.
That'll be great. That'll be good. But he might get selected top 15 overall. He might get.
I know that. I know that.
1st round, they are not taking a running back.
I'm the far superior.
That's what I'm saying. According to who?
I can pay child support.
According to who? I'm in the same state of mind that Vonjo is.
I decided to keep.
They can't do nothing right. They can't do nothing right, so I don't care either. I'm just like Vonjo. Just go get him. Just go get a running back.
Mama, so.
Do something different.
You want Bijan? You're gonna have to jump. You're gonna have to jump over the Cowboys because they're taking Bijan Robinson.
You must not have understood what I just said. That 1st round pick. You're giving a 1st round pick.
Hold on. Estefan, I am not trading so many assets for a running back.
Why do y'all want to trade assets? Like that makes
for
no sense.
A running back.
Because you get out of you give more to your future for the team. You can give more players money if you trade away Wilkins.
A running back.
All you're doing, you're adding a high potential prospect out of this draft, which is something that you never do. We never go after running backs.
What happened with
I know.
Holland? What is Javon Holland? Javon Holland was.
What do you mean? What is he?
Was the steal of that draft, and they traded up to go get him.
Oh wow!
No.
Retiring Paul Gasol's jersey.
You don't understand. You don't understand the way the draft works, Steven. Holland fell to us. He was the number one safety in that draft. That does not usually happen.
But we
That's
still
how we took him
That
number
doesn't
one.
happen. But what I'm saying, y'all need to get out of that. Listen. Wipe all the crap out of your brains right now, because what I'm talking
your
about
mic right now is
hold
killing
on.
me slowly.
Okay, what I'm talking about is plug your ears, damn it. Listen, what I'm talking about is taking destiny into your own hands, not sitting on your hands. Because if you trade away, if you get a first round pick for Wilkins and you give away a second round pick in a trade to move up into the draft, I'm pretty sure you can move ahead of anybody that's potentially going after a running back, and you can get that guy. That's what I'm saying.
So, Estefan, let me understand.
There are 13 running backs in this year's draft that have a third round grade or higher.
So get rid of two players.
You said what?
Yeah.
So get rid of two players to get a running back. That's what
They're not this guy, damn it. They're not this guy. Okay. All right.
Again,
I want the best one. I want the best one. I'm tired of waiting around, sitting around, waiting for things to happen.
Please stop screaming. Please.
Thank
I got
you.
these headphones in, bro, and you are killing
Plug your ears. Plug your ears, damn it.
They are plugged.
Bro, I feel, Estefan, I told
That's
you.
why nobody likes you, Rashad. That's why nobody likes you, Rashad.
It's pretty safe to say
because you screaming they don't like
selecting
me.
a tight end or a running back with the first 3 picks. Pretty safe to say that. The Dolphins will select a running back or a tight end with the first.
Trust me, I know.
I disagree.
I can make moves better than Greer can.
So who's your tight end?
I said the Dolphins take a quarterback with
Hold on,
the
Estefan, I have a question for you, Estefan. Do you think that the Miami Dolphins are a running back away from a Super Bowl?
Exactly, we're not.
I at this point, there are enough. There's enough talent.
Yes or no? Yes
or
no?
Guys, please let him talk. Don't let him yell.
Listen, yes.
No, the running back away.
Can I talk? Put tape on your mouth right now. Yeah. All right. From what I heard, duct tape works real good. Whatever. I don't know. I seen that Dahmer show on Netflix. I think it works pretty good. Anyways, listen. Yeah, I think we're one running back away. Hey, listen. If we can get this offensive line rolling with what we got, and Tua stays healthy, of course, we got to cross our eyes and act like we're driving through and a busy intersection. We just ran the red light with Tua because of his injuries, because Lord knows that he gets hurt every time you sneeze or anytime you look away from the TV. So all I got to say is if the dude can stay healthy, yeah, I feel that we're one running back away. A dynamic running back like Bijan to this team is exactly what this team needs. Something to make the opposition think going into a game. I think that if you're just like Pittsburgh went for Najee,
God don't like ugly.
Najee felt it.
Don't take my stand. All right. Hold on. All right. So here's another question for the panel, not necessarily Estefan and his Nokia phone.
What's the question?
Nick Jer, who paid $2. Shout out for his $2 donation. Okay.
I would.
Would y'all trade for Derrick Henry?
No.
Yes.
As long as the price is right. If the price is right, and
what is that, Walk Dog? What is a good price to trade for Derrick Henry?
It's tough to say because, in my opinion, I think he's going to be more of a draft day trade. Like, it's going to go down to the wire, and then a desperate team is going to take him. So it's just really tough to say. He can go for a second-round pick, 2 third-round picks, 2 fourth-round picks. You feel me? It's going to go down to the wire.
I say no because at the end of the day, we are living.
That second-round pick for us is like our first-round pick.
The age of the running back right now is dying. Right now we're living in the
Did you
age
hear
of
Vic
the dynamic.
Fangio's press conference? Did you hear Vic Fangio's press conference? I don't think you heard.
Yes,
Vic
it's a
Fangio's
very.
press
It was. Hold
where
on.
he
It was a
said,
very general statement because you didn't let me finish my statement, Walt. Because the age of the
"My
dynamic
bad."
quarterback is among us.
Absolutely, I agree. Anthony
So,
Richardson.
so Nick Fangio's press conference actually, I think, plays into what I'm saying because when he's made that statement, he did not say that it were running backs that were running the ball. He just said people ran the ball more. For all I know, that could have been quarterbacks.
Check this
Well,
out.
there's only,
Tua,
you had Fields.
Tua has outside of getting hurt. Tua played pretty good. Tua, what he's lacking is timing on when he takes off to run. If he adds that to his game, if you got a dynamic running back like Bijan Robinson, who can hurt a defense, who can, I'm talking beat double, got two guys, 2-on-1, he can beat you. When you got a guy like that and you got to make a defense think about the run, I think eventually Tua, it should help him with his timing on his running because that's what he's lacking. Because there's plenty of times where if he's processing the field, he takes off too late. If you got him processing the field, you got the defense respecting a running back like Bijan, it's going to help out Tua. I'm telling you. I'm already like, forget it. Let's just do what we got to do. Just like I agree with Vaughn. Let's just do what we got to do something different already. Damn it. And let's be selective.
I'm going to say fix the O-line.
Von Joe said running back with the guys. Von Joe said running back.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The reason why I say that, if you have an O-line.
No, Bijan said the O-line, but I agree. I agree with
if you have an O-line, hold on. If you have an O-line and you have a solid O-line, you could have a plug-and-play running back behind an O-line.
No, not this team.
You can't.
This team doesn't know how to scout.
Quarterback.
They can't.
See, that's what you're saying, Estefan. You're not disagreeing with me. You're just saying this team.
That is not true. This team does know how to scout. How the heck did we get
running back? Not running back. Not running back. Not running back. And then whenever they do hit something that has potential, they don't commit to it because Myles Gaskins was doing good, but we never committed to the run game when we had him before we got Wilson and Mostert the year before.
I hate to break your breaky heart, but Myles
that was
Gaskins
a bad team.
Was not the solution. Okay.
No.
Wilson.
Okay, quit with your horrible takes already because you're cutting me off. I'm talking about not this past season, but the season before. Our offensive line sucked at run blocking, and Myles Gaskins was averaging, I think, 4 yards before they started taking the ball out of his hands. He was averaging, I think, at least 4 to 5 yards per carry.
Yeah, got hurt.
And he got hurt. But listen, no, Myles.
That's not.
You said who?
The point of my take
He's
is
never averaged over 4 yards a carry. Y'all can stop.
No, he was.
Steven,
He was.
hold on. Steven,
No, he was.
panel. Hold on, Estefan.
Man, look, at the end of the day, he's too small, too slow.
Dave, hold on. I need to say, guys. Hold on, Steven. I just want to say.
2019, he averaged. Hold on. 2019, he averaged 3 points.
I'm not talking about the final. I'm not talking about his final number.
I think
it was like through 8 games, the guy was rushing like
last
year.
You
don't understand.
Yo, one mic, guys. Y'all keep talking over each other. One mic.
Listen,
because Estefan can't hear nobody.
3.7 in 2019, 4.1 in 2020, 3.5 in 2021, and 2.6 last year.
Steven, real quick. I just want to say thanks for having me on. It's been a while since I've been on here. I got to get to work. They changed my schedule. You already know. So it's been tricky for me to get on here, but it was nice being on here with you and the rest of the panel. All right? You guys have a wonderful day.
And your crow.
Be safe, Von Joe.
All right. You guys take care.
Yeah, be safe, bro.
All right, Von.
Tell the crow we said bye.
Whatever, Von Joe. Have a good day.
But that 2019 year with Miles was decent. It just wasn't.
Wilson and Wilson
you guys
are both McDaniels' guy.
Okay, what y'all aren't understanding? What besides the guy that said the 2019 year, which is the year I'm talking about, What you guys don't understand, I'm talking about us drafting somebody and actually utilizing him. We drafted this guy. We utilized him. He was doing good, but we wouldn't commit to the run game. If you
Gaskin
listen,
was a 7th-round pick.
Hold on. If you
got a lot of
trade up,
commitment.
if you trade up and you get a guy like Bijan, because the capital that you gave up, that not only is Christopher Greer going to be in the coach's ear, and Mike McDaniels already likes running the ball, they're going to commit to the run more if they get a guy like Bijan.
We're not trading up.
Look at what they did with Eichenberg. They gave up capital for the guy.
We're not trading up, and definitely
the guy sucks. Eichenberg sucks, and they're still talking about giving him a chance. So you got better odds of hitting on a guy like Bijan and him giving your production for years. If it's the best thing for this team.
We agree, but it's not happening.
Exactly. We're not one.
There's so much more need than Bijan.
We're giving up too much. We're giving up too much when next year's draft.
You're not wrong.
There's three.
I say get rid of Wilkins. It's not that hard to get you a tackle. Go get you. You can draft those tackles.
Andravia says McDaniel ain't in love with the run like y'all think he is.
You can listen. You can draft tackles. Tackles don't really. There's really not runs on tackles in the draft until the later rounds. You guys are scared.
They select tackles the first 2 rounds. They select
okay.
And there's a gap.
No. You can find quality tackles in the draft, and you can go get you a free agent. And we stick with Siler, and we're ready to rock. Plus, if we go to a 4-3, we still got what's his name from Alabama.
It's not a 4-3. It's a 3-4.
330 pounds. Raekwon Davis. In a 4-3, we don't know what he's going to do. That's 330 pounds.
Trash.
Yeah. They're going to give him opportunity. I don't think he's trash. He just needs to improve. I don't think he's trash. He just needs to improve.
Trash. What's the other tackle we got? Put him in.
Wait, I missed it. Who trash? I missed it. Who trash?
Raekwon, whatever you want to call him.
Inconsistent at best. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, real quick. Somebody just tweeted. Neil Driscoll just tweeted something. Hey, hold on, guys.
My coaches will call you big for nothing. But
hold on, John. Neil Driscoll just tweeted this, and I thought it's an interesting stat, and I want to bring it up. He said, I'm in the minority here, but I don't want Tremaine Edmonds in Miami. In 74 games, not a lot of playmaking production. 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 5 interceptions. In 70 games for Jerome Baker, he's accounted for 3 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, and 21 sacks. Interesting. Jerome Baker has better production than Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah, if you're going by stats, but when you actually look at,
telling y'all to take Levante,
you gotta watch the games, baby. That's why you gotta watch the games. You gotta look at what they're doing
has a bigger impact
and how they impact the game. Driscoll,
but you can also say
you can bring up stats, but unless you're talking to me about what you actually saw in a game, I don't give a damn what Neil Driscoll says.
You can also say that
stats don't lie.
Next to Matt Milano.
I think it's an interesting stat, and I think it personally, I want Jordan Poyer.
Now, that was fair to say, Rashad. That was fair.
I think it's fair to say.
Gardner Johnson. I want CJ Gardner Johnson.
Look at Bradley Chubb. Look at Bradley Chubb next to
CB83 just said that's because Baker's in that scheme was nothing but a good blitzer. That's a fair statement too.
So they led the team in tackles 3 years in a row.
And linebackers
but all those tackles are 10 yards upfield, Cap.
Yeah, here's the thing.
If he don't make those tackles, who does?
This is the sad part. So he led the team for 3 years for the Dolphins in a row, but he was at the bottom 5 in tackles of all of the NFL.
That's what I'm saying. You can do with statistics anything you want. Statistics can be
Christian Wilkins eating up a lot of tackles now. Christian Wilkins.
Yep.
Nah, Jerome Baker just not good like that, bro. Like, just because he's the best thing on our team, that just tells y'all how bad our damn linebacker core is.
We just need a better linebacker next to him the same way Evans had a better linebacker next to him.
I mean, if there's any
my reason for saying Bobby Wagner or Levante David is because of their mental, I believe, will have the other linebackers playing better. That's why I want a veteran in the middle.
Yeah, leadership. true leadership.
Knowing what's going to
Bobby
happen before the snap, sending his guys, hey, you play this gap. This is what's coming. We need a Luke Kuechly type guy, a pre-snap guy.
Said Edmonds is better, and it's not even close.
Again,
I
one's a
believe
middle
he's better.
linebacker, the other one's an outside linebacker.
He has a bigger
He might
impact.
not even
Now let me ask you guys a question. Does a player like Jerome Baker have different opportunities to prove himself in a defensive scheme that will be, led by Vic Fangio? Is that fair to say that some of these players are going to get different opportunities because of the scheme that Fangio will introduce?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean,
yeah.
You can be playing different, so yeah.
An opportunity. But if they go in a different direction,
somebody came up. I don't know who said it yesterday, but they said yesterday or Monday. They said, I see the Dolphins. It might have even been TD who said it. TD had said something to the effect of, maybe it wasn't TD. I forget who it was. It was on my show though. But they said, hey, look, don't be surprised if the Dolphins cut everybody except in the linebacker room, except for Channing Tyndall. I thought that was a little extreme. It was EM who said that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little extreme, but I thought about it and I'm like, that's not off the wall to think about. And Vic Fangio coming here, right?
That depends on if you look at Jalen Phillips as a linebacker.
But what I will say is,
rusher. Come on, man. We know that.
But what I will say is, Jerome Baker, I think I'd like to see him in a Vic Fangio defense. I'd like to see what he could do in Vic Fangio's defense.
Word is they're trying to trade him.
I don't agree with you guys bringing up those stats. You just you don't know how long those defenses are on the field and yada yada, man, and what schemes being run, if they're dropping back. I mean, there's so much that affects stats, man. I can't stand
Jerome
that. Like,
Baker, he wears the mic. Jerome Baker, he wears the.
That's why I don't bring that up. My thing with Baker is he doesn't tackle anybody until they're 10 yards upfield. That's my issue.
Right, but again, Edmonds is a middle linebacker. Baker's not. Baker's going to get
exactly. We had him playing in the middle for how long? For what?
So. Yeah, it's totally
not even physical enough to be a middle linebacker.
Two different positions. The same thing I say with
y'all. Not tired of y'all linebackers having a gator roll every time they tackle somebody instead of just knocking them backwards?
Not just that. We actually dropped back Baker into coverage.
I can see like Edmonds would be the mic,
and then he's not even good at coverage. That's the thing. I don't understand the love affair with Baker.
As far as
he got better,
he was a
he got better.
That's why he was a draft.
Baker had some pretty good reps in coverage against the pass. That's why I would say.
I want to ask you guys a question. As far as a measuring stick is concerned, or somebody to compare it to, from the Dolphins' viewpoint, who is the last good inside linebacker that we've had on this football team?
Carlos Dansby.
Carlos Dansby.
That's fair. So that should be the bar that we look at our inside linebackers with.
And that's
do they remind you of Dansby? If they're not as good as Dansby, then they shouldn't be.
Melvin Ingram in his prime maybe would be another one.
I'm talking about
Melvin Ingram.
You're talking about middle linebacker, bro. Melvin Ingram has never been a middle linebacker.
He's not.
I was talking about on the Dolphins, like as far as the Dolphins were concerned with middle linebacker, who's the last good inside linebacker that we've had. I think Dansby's probably correct. And
what about Kiko Alonso? What about Kiko Alonso?
Kiko was fun to watch. Don't get it twisted, but he had some games where I was like, man, what is this guy doing out on the field? He would look lost at times. But he had some good moments too. But I think that's right. Dansby's probably the best middle linebacker we've had in the last 10 years, or the last one that I can think of.
Jerome Baker, if they cut him after June 1st, it will be $9 million in cap space. So that's where you have it. If they cut him, it'll be $9 million in savings. So you feel me?
Al Kilpatrick said Joey Porter. That's sad because Porter was at the end of his career.
That's a pass rusher. Know your linebackers. Got to know your linebackers. That's a pass rusher. He's not an off-ball backer.
So is Channing? Do you guys trust that Channing Tyndall can become that person or no?
Tyndall is not a middle linebacker. blocker. He's Jerome Baker's replacement. He's not a Mike. He's Jerome Baker's replacement.
So
that's why
you have a Mike. You have a Mike and a Sam.
Do we have a real Mike on this team?
We do not have a real Mike. We do not have.
We have a
Sam.
Mike. We got a Sam. We don't have a Mike.
Roberts.
Right, and it's but Landon Roberts is a Sam.
Oh my God.
He's not a Mike.
I would agree.
So who was the Mike? So who was the Mike? Jerome Baker?
We don't have one right now. No, we don't have one right now. We have to go out and get one.
Landon Roberts was the Mike. Landon Roberts.
He was playing the Mike, but I don't think he was.
Right.
You know,
but he's not. He's not. No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's a Sam, but he's not a Mike.
Let's just be honest, though. He does give you good reps at the Mike's position. For depth, I would still bring him back.
No, you cannot bring a veteran guy back as depth. You cannot do that. The man's 29 years old. You don't do that.
I disagree with that blanket statement. You can't bring a veteran back as depth.
I think you can bring him back.
You can bring a veteran back as depth.
And
there's nothing wrong with doing a 4-2.
We're moving in another direction. He's a part of the old staff.
Batman said, no Mike Gesicki is off the team, Steven. No Mike's on the roster. LOL.
I mean, can you bring a Landon Roberts back and maybe in Fangio's system and hopefully he be able to play as a Mike?
See, and if they do that, that's a fair statement, Kaz. That's a fair statement because I believe that players in Vic Fangio's system will have different production from the previous years that we've seen under Boyer. Personal
but he has the talent to do it.
That's why I'm saying get rid of Wilkins, and we still got Raekwon. Let's rock.
He has a talent to do it, though. That's what I'm saying about Roberts. You might not like him or whatever, but he does have the talent to be able to play the position.
He does, but he's a low-level starter. We're not looking for low-level pretender starters. We're
right, but under Fangio, might not be.
If not better. We're looking to get to realness. He's a low-level starter on a bad team. That's
on the outsides. It's going to be
Landon is a dog. I don't mind having him on the roster next year. I don't care if you put him at the Sam or the Mike as depth. He's a great depth piece. That's all. That's next. That's what he would be for me next year.
A depth piece when you can have a.
I'm not looking at his contract right now. How much is he going to cost? Is he cheap? Because if he's cheap, why are you going to move on from Landon Roberts?
How much did he cost last year?
Bro, as much as everybody else is on him, that's a pretty damn good linebacker. Outside of pass coverage.
Hold up. Cruz Ruiz says, according to Pro Football Focus, Jerome Baker is 20th in run defense and 19th in coverage among linebackers with 50% of the run snaps and coverage snaps. Now, if that's and I hear you, Walt Dog, that's the middle of the pack. But
who's middle of the pack?
Jerome. But I think that can change with Fangio. I think Jerome Baker should be. I think Jerome should be back next year. I'll say Jerome Baker. I think he should be back next year.
He was drafted by us. We should try to keep him for the long haul.
He's a great weak side linebacker. It's not like Fangio don't know this, y'all.
But we do need an inside linebacker, and I don't know if we should get that in the draft or in free agency.
It's tough. You can get both. You can get.
The problem I have with getting a highly touted inside linebacker in the draft is with any rookie, there's a learning curve, right? And so if we're in this window of winning now, which I think we all think that we're in, I think most of the fan base considers that we're in, then we have to understand that I think the better option for the Dolphins is going after a veteran inside linebacker and keeping a Landon Roberts, and allowing those two guys, to play.
You're gonna have two veterans.
I'll tell you what. The fact that we lost that first round pick, it really hurt us because this would be a draft where I'm looking to get me a running back and an inside linebacker early, which we never do. I don't care. I mean, it's like. Look at the team overall. We've got a really good roster. That's what I'm saying. I like Wilkins. I know what he brings to the team. But when you talk about helping out the team overall financially in the long run and just how it's going to benefit the team overall, you still got Seiler. I mean, it's not that hard to find tackles. What are we talking about? We're talking about just adding to your team.
Paul Ferguson says, I love Jerome Baker, but it's going to be up to Fangio to decide if he's going to fit.
Exactly. Yep, it is up to Fang. It is up to Vic.
Cruz says, understood, Ryan, but in a debate, I can't show you film. I have to support my argument with stats. And that's one of the things that for me that I think is very important, that when you're having a debate, you're having a discussion.
I don't agree with that at all. I think that's BS. You should at least be able to give examples of what you see without having the film there. And if you go to the film, well, then you're really going to prove that person wrong. That's all I'm saying. I think you can at least just bring up what you see.
I think over the time that you've come on my show for the last couple of years, I would say that I would agree with about 50% of what you say, good, bad, or indifferent, right? But I will say, I don't agree
with nothing what you say.
But what I will also say is, you're not a stats guy. You don't like numbers. You are an eye test person. If you see it with your eyes, you think that. And I think there are some fans that look at the eye test is better than stats, but you can't deny stats. Stats are an important process.
No, they are important.
They show
production, but I think you got to have a balance of both. And I think this fan base relies too much on stats, especially when people are talking about talent throughout the league. If you hear people in Twitter Spaces, Kindle, they specifically go to stats for everything, and it's okay to do that. But when you can actually talk about what you see with your eyes, that tells you what you're seeing on film, or if you were to break down film. If you put on the tape, you're going to be able to explain that to somebody. You should still be able to talk about what you see on the field as well with stats, and have a good balance of both.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
What I'm hearing too much on this panel is stats because of this tweet that what his name put out about Edmund. That's where it started for me.
I just threw that tweet out there. There's a lot of people that do that with tweets, right? Or just in discussions with the debating. He said, and Cruz says at Esta, I'm not dismissing film. You should take what you see and support it with stats. But on this platform, you can't show film. So I use stats to support my argument. And I think that that's fair. Yep. And Malo says, eye test is totally subjective. What I look at and what Walmart looks at and what Dade County looks at, they could all be.
I don't agree with that at all.
And that is true. We could look at the same thing and have three different points of view.
It's opinions.
It's an opinion. Eye test is an opinion.
No. The film is confirmation of what you see.
Film is not confirmation.
That is confirmation. If you talk about what you see on the field and then you bring up the stats, that is confirmation for me. It is not subjective at all. It's subjective.
I don't know.
Well, if that's the case, Tua was the best quarterback you've seen last year.
Up to date.
I'm going to start a poll. My question to the people are going to be, what type of fan are you when it comes to looking at potential or looking at free agents
or talent evaluation?
And
I'm a realist. That's what I am.
But yeah, man, I just don't think this team is one running back away. We can't really sell the farm a little bit just to go after Bijan. If we had a first round pick and we were at 22nd, 20, whatever we're at, absolutely. If he falls to us, I would slam the table for Bijan. But as far as trying to trade back into the first round and try to do this whole circus for Bijan, it's just a little bit too much.
What up, Luz?
I don't see the point in going to draft a running back high if you're not going to fix the offensive line. I'm not going to go and spend all this capital to get a good running back for him to struggle behind this offensive line. You fix the offensive line, I don't care what you do.
This offensive line is not that far off, y'all. If you really look at it,
we're not.
Let's bring back Shell.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You go get a guard, you go get a right tackle. I have no problem with you going to go get a running back high.
Not even that.
But if you're not going to go fill those positions and you're going to let Eichenberg and goddamn Jackson continue to start, then I'm not going to go get no running back with no high pick, bro. It doesn't make sense.
That's why what Pete was telling y'all earlier actually does make sense. I understand that Applebaum potentially failed. That's his fault. If you didn't see that Eichenberg didn't have it, and you still had it out there. I think there's something going on there because I believe you could visibly. It was easy to see that Eichenberg didn't have it, and so You know, if you fire Applebaum and then you come out, Greer comes out still talking about Eichenberg and Austin Jackson, I kind of feel like they made him use this guy, forced him in this scheme. And this scheme, as far as it's the blocking scheme that we do, it's a lot of technique. It's what it is. It's not muscle and power. It's like getting inside guys' pads and shit and turning them out, like, or getting to the second level, get your hat on the linebacker. Like, Eichenberg just doesn't have that consistently. But when I look at this team, what we have overall, the offensive line, for me, honestly, if Shell stays healthy, we're just one left guard away from completing this offensive line. It's really not that bad. What we lack is commitment to the run game. That's what we lack. Why? Hold on, wait. Why is that though? Because we got a coach that was trying to target Tyreek Hill all season to get up 2,000 yards. That's why. If you really want to be honest, that's what. Okay, he should have, could have, would have. But y'all don't feel that we went to the well too much.
Well, if
y'all didn't feel that later on in the season that teams had already kind of clamped down on the Tyreek Hill shit. I'm sorry, Steven, my bad.
No, not at all, because he was still getting 100 yards a
yeah,
game.
he's imposing. I understand that he's going to be open a lot, but you got to spread the ball out, and why not commit to the run game? All it's going to do is add to your offense.
Because we had no running back. We had running
backs. We didn't commit to the run game.
Lewis, what's your take on all this? I want to get your take. Good morning to you, man. How are you doing, buddy?
What's up, Lewis? Good, man. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, man. Good to hear from you.
What up, Lewis? Tell him the truth, Lewis.
Slowly.
I don't want no damn running back, man. I'm telling you now, go get one in the draft. I don't know why everybody's so clamoring about paying running backs all this money. Steven said it best earlier. Look at the past 10 years. There's not a running back that has been over $4 million.
Not one over 4 and only 3 over 1.
Like, come on, bro. What are we talking? Like, what? No, it's not the outlier. None of these big-time running backs. Again, Derrick Henry. That's a guy everybody wants, right? Go give him the bag. What does he want in Tennessee? Go ahead, I'll wait.
16 mil.
He hasn't won anything. Josh Jacobs didn't win anything. Jonathan Taylor hasn't won nothing. And I don't care about the team around him and stuff. There's no generational running back. No one pays a running back. Everybody else can do. Now
I'll do you one better.
You want to go get $1 million?
There's plenty of running backs available. We need to sign a running back. We need to bring a starting running back in. A rookie running back is not going to save this league.
We're not paying.
A rookie running back is not.
A rookie running back. The running back position is not that hard.
Why can't a rookie running back play
well? The running back position is not that hard. They came in last season and were given production.
Running backs are successful as long as they know how to pass block and read holes. That's it.
Y'all have to understand, Tua is not a respected running back. You can't just plug any rookie running back with Tua and think, okay, let's just do this. We'll get the job done together. No. It was clear last season with Raheem and Jeff you know what I'm saying? Y'all know this, fam. Get a respected running back who can be the big brother security guard for our quarterback. There's plenty of running backs available, fam.
Respectfully, I disagree.
But Walt, you got to understand, right?
Okay.
Mostert missed games. Mostert missed games last season, Walt, and the man had over 900 yards. To Esther's point, it wasn't so much the running game per se. Bro, we averaged 4.3 yards a carry. To Esther's point, I think the running attempts could have been a little bit more. And again, you would have, Jeff Wilson Jr. and Raheem Mostert combined. Well, even with Rashad, I agree. We should upgrade the offensive line, right? But even with that being said, the offensive line last year, they averaged 4.3 yards a carry.
They did okay.
Jeff Wilson Jr. had over 6.
I thought it was 4.6. I thought it was 4.6
Okay, whatever. Listen, 4.3, 4.6.
Semantics. It's over 4. Jesus, y'all chill. It's over 4, bro.
Remember, we said any offensive line that gets 4.5 or more you're good. 4.5 yards or more, you're good. Anything below that, it makes all the difference in the world.
Steven,
we started off with Chase Edmonds.
We're talking about 4.6. That point, whatever, don't mean shit to me. Because again, I'm not a math major, but I know 4 times 3 is 12. That's a first
goddamn
down.
12, ain't it, Lewis?
That's all I need.
Lewis, math is hard for me. I've told you this on multiple occasions.
I'm not a math
Raheem is
going
gonna
to
get punched in the mouth again. Raheem is gonna get punched
That's a
in the
first
mouth.
down. What this
That's
team was
fine,
averaging
bro.
was
You
a
can
first
bring
down.
back both them guys
You
and
talking
bring
about
back get a rookie running back.
Yeah, I'm not
Don't
drafting
have
him
to
in the
like
first
just settle.
round. What are
You
you
don't need
talking
to go
about?
get a running back.
I go get a running
Not in
back
free
with my
agency.
with a 6th
Bro,
round
there's
pick.
better options, bro. There's Miles Sanders. David
Hit the like
Montgomery.
I
button,
don't want
everybody. Hit
Miles
the like
Miles
Sanders.
button.
Sanders is
Kareem
not
Hunt.
What are
like
you
Leonard
that.
paying?
Like
Fournette.
What are you paying Miles Sanders? What are you
Leonard
paying?
You
Fournette.
talking about Miles
I
Sanders
don't
that ran
honestly.
the
You can
best
pay Miles Sanders
second
$8
best
million.
offensive line in the league?
I'll
You
pay
out
him
your
$8
fucking
million.
body.
in fairness,
I don't
Sorry,
know.
Q.
I don't know
Hey,
when. I don't know when Lou
watch
came
the
in.
swear jar, guys. Watch the swear jar.
I don't know when
Sorry,
Lou came
Q.
in, but
you
He
started
said
it.
pay Miles
I'm
Sanders
not.
$8
I was
million.
not even talking about free
This
agency and running back.
conversation is over.
I wouldn't do that.
In the
I would
draft.
just go look.
In the
The
draft.
linebacker position is where you need the guys that have the experience. Go get you Wagner and what's the name from the Bucks? Get you 2 in free agency. And what I said was, well, I mean, I'm
Devontae
frustrated
Davis.
as a fan. I'm frustrated with what happens with Tua and his injuries. I understand he's a good quarterback. And Bonjo said something earlier that I agree with, where like you just kind of throw your hands up, like, what else can we do? Let's just try something different. Let's
Hey.
do the offensive. He said, do the offensive line. I said the same thing, but in a different aspect. I said, let's trade away Wilkins and a 2nd round pick. Go get you a 1st round pick, trade up, and just go get Bijan, the most dynamic running back in this draft. The guy that's going to make the guy 2-on-1 that's going to make defenses think. He's going to add a different element to this. I say go get Bijan. Go get you the best running back.
I'm not trading Wilkins for a running back to get.
Hey, real quick.
No. But in the long run, you can pay Siler. You can pay Siler, and it frees up money in the future. You got to move off of them anyways. So how are you gonna add to this team? Yeah, you could add a young inside linebacker to the draft.
All right, hold up real quick. So no, what type of fan are you when it comes to looking at free agents or talent evaluation? There were 28 votes. 57% said eye test, 28% said film, and 14% said
it's
stats.
always about eye
now, that's
test.
very small. 28 votes is not a lot, right?
It's always about eye test.
But I still think that you can measure that over 50% of fans within the fan base, I would say, look at the eye test. They don't go back to film. They don't go look at the stats. They go off of the eye test of what they're seeing in a live game and how they remember that. Oh yeah, this guy's name was called a lot. Oh yeah, he moved the sticks. Oh yeah, this person made a lot of,
Let me ask you a question, Steven. Watch this. Watch this, Steven. Let me ask you a question. I've been in the building with you watching live football games, correct?
Yep.
You can remember plays that you've seen in that game, correct, Steven?
Yep.
Can you remember the stats?
No.
Thank you. It's always about what your eyes tell you. You see what I'm saying?
Unless it's a breaking record.
But you're not going to know the stats.
And then when you get somebody stubborn enough to not agree with you, that's when you bring in the stats.
Exactly.
And Robert said eye test equates to opinions, which I agree with that. I still think that because of the 50% doing the eye test, you're still getting 50% plus opinions from people. You're not getting the end all be all.
Let me ask you another question. Let me ask you another question, Stephen, and this is for the panel, right? When you talk about Tua's stats, then, right? Okay, cool, fine. Let's say you see a game and Tua has 330 yards, right? Are those stats going to tell you that he threw and again, this is just playing devil's advocate, right? Is those stats going to tell you he threw a 3-yard slant and Tyreek Hill ran the other 80 for the 83-yard touchdown? Or is it just going to say Tua has 83-yard touchdown? Right?
You know the answer to these questions.
Or like when y'all were talking about.
All right, Lewis.
One mic.
Let me say this. Let me answer your question, Lewis.
Okay.
So I went to a lot of games this year. I was at the historical comeback game in Baltimore. I went to the game where we got killed by the Jets in New York. And what I will say is, and going to a game live, there's a couple of things that are tough. Number one, when you're at a game live, it's different than watching it on TV. because there's a million things that are going on. There are people around you. You're watching the game from a vantage view.
It's very
view.
different.
It's totally different.
Go ahead and say it, Steve. You're drunk.
But what I will say is when I was in New York, I was on the 1 yard line in the corner end zone. When I was in Baltimore, I was on the very last row all the way up top. And what I can tell you is that up top, I was able to get the whole view of the field.
Better vantage point.
And so I was able to see like why are the Dolphins running this defense against Lamar in this situation? Like I remember yelling the first 3 quarters of that situation. I can remember, saying, man, this looks really good. And then the fourth quarter, seeing Tua make all these passes and seeing Tyreek run past those people was amazing. But when I'm in New York, and Skyler was playing most of that game, by the way, or I think he played every snap except the first one. I'm watching that game from the corner end zone, and I'm on a side viewpoint. And all I could go off that game was how players, like how they were on the sidelines. Like after a play, I would look at the sidelines and say, "What did the team think about that?" And I could tell you, I was sitting with Allie Dolfreaky, her husband, and my buddy from up in Mass, and they Southern New England, Eric. And I said, man, these guys, they just look defeated. They just look horrible. And that was before the game was over. And so I think you have to
21
look at
points in the fourth quarter.
Live vantage point means a lot. Now, when you're on TV, when you're watching the game on TV, the problem with that is you have the commentator's point of view, and you're having to deal with that. You're also seeing, you're not able to see everything because you can only see what the TV shows you. But at the end of the day, that's why I like Catch 22, right? Or all 22, because you're able to get a coach's viewpoint of how it looks from a coach's perspective. So the eye test for me is biased. It's based. It depends if you're there live or watching TV. There's so many different things to that. And we can watch the same game on the same TV, and I can still have a different opinion than what Lewis has on something.
That's a nice soliloquy. That's a nice soliloquy. But no, again,
but we can also watch. But we can also watch the all 22, right? And it also could be opinion.
That's film. That's film.
That's very opinion based.
It just depends on. You know what? Look,
hold on, Esther, real quick. Hold on,
Esther, I think it depends on the person. I think there's a lot of people that.
Well, no. It's not. It's just about opinion. Because again,
it's all opinion.
When you're watching the film, Tua could throw a pass, right? And I keep going back to Tua because again, he's just the focal point of the offense, right? If Tua throws a pass, if Tua throws a pass to Tyreek Hill, and let's say it's going to be a contested catch, but whatever, Tyreek could have caught
on the other side of the field.
But then on the other side of the field, someone's wide open. All we're going to do watching the film, depending on your opinion, is going to say, "Oh, Tyreek should have made that catch," and we're going to ignore that Jeff Wilson Jr. or Mostert or somebody is
we're not going to ignore
wide
that.
Open. You see what I'm saying? Everything you do bro, it's always going to be opinion. It's just come into your own conclusion of what's real and what's fake.
We call that out every time, Lewis. We call that out every time. We say Tua missed this guy, Tua missed this guy, Tua missed this guy. Not saying, let's be real, we don't see it from Tua's point of view. We don't know what his reads are. We don't know if he's been told we're going here regardless. He's not looking to the left. So how is he gonna know that person to the left is open?
At this point, he should learn how to do. After the snap, he should know what he's doing after the snap, regardless.
I'm telling you what y'all say every week. He should have took his time. The pocket was clean. All right, what do y'all say? What do y'all say when he missed somebody?
If you don't look at him,
yeah. What do you say?
That again, he missed the read. You're dealing with a third-year quarterback that should be diagnosing what defenses are planning to do against them before the snap of the ball. Rashad?
What did I just say that y'all say? He missed.
What are you talking about that he would miss the read?
That's exactly what I just said, and you said that's not what y'all say.
No. Again, but what do y'all say, Rashad? I know what
I don't say anything. I agree with you. I agree.
Okay.
I agree with you.
What do other people that are in this fan base that break down film? What do they say, Rashad?
The same thing. To a Mr. Guy.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not based on
Nah, they be like, oh, nah, he fit it into a tight window. That was a great throw.
Well, that depends on who y'all watch break down film, because I saw watching people break down all 22 a year ago.
Exactly.
So that all depends.
Rashad,
it's still all opinions, bro. It's all opinions.
It's all opinions. You're watching the same. We're all saying the same thing.
I ain't gonna lie. What's crazy is you and Rashad are literally saying the same shit.
We're saying the same exact thing. We're saying the same thing.
No. It sounded like Rashad was trying to debate that. Because again, let's just call out and not even call him out. Hold on. Hey, hold on. Let's not call him out in a rude way. But let's just say two guys in the community that watch film. TD Finstock can watch a film and everything is going to be, for the most part, we're blaming Tua, correct? Okay, cool.
Right.
I can respect that. CB83 is watching that same film and he's going to lean more towards it was everything else but Tua. You see what I'm saying? Whose opinion is right?
It's still opinions.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's still
we're talking about, it can't be the eye test because eye test is about opinion. Well, so is film then. Ain't film about opinion?
Everything is opinion based. Everything.
Yeah.
So here's the problem with that statement, Lewis. I've made the blanket statement before. Hey, you're just using that stat or you're just using that particular scenario to fit your narrative. But when it comes to film, we can't. Here's the thing. We can't just take one set of film or one play or one game. You have to take a total package, a cumulative total of film to assess, hey, a majority of the time, this player does this or this player does that. What I will say is fair about TD, okay, just to put TD on the spot here, is TD, in my opinion, okay, good, bad, or indifferent, he will see a majority of film and say, hey, look, here's where X, Y, and Z, and this is why I'm pushing this narrative, okay? CB, I believe, is the same way. Okay, CB will use it and say, I can show positives, I can show pros, and I can show cons. But there are other people within the community that I believe, and again, this is a biased opinion of just how I feel when I'm watching and what I perceive it to be. I believe that if they feel something about a particular player, person, or team, that they're going to go look for the film that supports their narrative. I believe that TD and CB83, in my opinion, use film objectively, and they have their opinions about things. But when they break down film, they're not just breaking down one or two plays. They're breaking down multiple plays and using multiple aspects of somebody's game. That's my opinion.
Problem is, Steven, you just still said opinion. It's still all opinion based.
Yeah, it's opinion based. Exactly. That's what the argument is. It's opinion.
I mean, we could all be watching the same game, and everybody can be watching different things. Everybody can interpret things differently. That's why we keep saying it's opinion based, bro.
I mean, look, there's a reason that we all watch different channels, right? You know, and I believe that, and some people will watch it because they like or they like somebody's theory about how they view the team. Some people will watch because they view, they like that person's personality or they like, the content that's up there. The one thing that I'll say when it comes to just feel or assessing the game is I've had this conversation with former NFL players. And the problem is they'll say that, I played in the NFL for multiple years, and I had multiple different coaches at particular coaching position, and they were all different. And they'd have the same set of film and still see things differently. So I think sports in general is an opinion-based perception viewpoint on how they view something.
It is, but some people are more overly opinionated, and they're not objective about it. Just depends. That's why I'm saying I don't disagree with the opinion thing you guys are saying, but there are people that are objective while they're doing it. It is an opinion. But are you being objective about it or subjective? Some people are a lot more subjective about it.
Look, here's a good example. Here's a good example, Estefan. and I know this will spark debate within the community, but I think it's a good example. Look, Brian Flores was not a big fan of Tua. Mike McDaniel is. But who's right and who's wrong in that situation? Because when it comes to a defensive perspective, that's how Flores is looking at it. But when McDaniel's looking at it, he's looking at it from an offense perspective, and he thinks that Tua can fit his scheme. So who's right and who's wrong in that scenario?
At this point, up until this point, Flores is the one that was right.
But that's
because he's still not considered.
There are some people in the community that do not.
He's not a franchise. Or is he a franchise quarterback right now? I believe nobody on this panel is going to say yes. So up until this point, no. Right now. Flo was right.
You're wrong.
Until proven otherwise, because the other coach had an entire year with that quarterback, and in my opinion, it is what it is.
The other coach sucks. That's all that is. He don't know how to evaluate talent.
Let me hit the reset button.
He don't know how to coach talent. All right, go ahead.
Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. It is Wildin' Out Wednesday. I got the link pinned up to the top of the chat if you want to come. Make sure y'all do that and hit that like button. Only 34 likes, over 100 of y'all in the room. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Come on.
Come on, y'all. Y'all can do better than that.
We are discussing, what is it about when somebody has an opinion about the team or view of the team or perspective of the team? How is that looked at? We had a poll a little bit ago. When it comes to viewing talent in the NFL, looking at free agents and talent evaluation as a fan, do you look at the eye test? Do you look at film? Do you look at stats? And that's kind of what we're going, the discussion is today. We've also touched on, particular free agents that we'd like to go out and get. There's a, debate within the fan base. Is a running back a high priority or a bell cow running back or a high valued running back, somebody that the Dolphins should go after? We'd like to know. Get up here. The link is in the chat. We want to hear from you. And again, make sure you guys hit that like button. Only 36 likes, over 100 of y'all in the room. And if you guys want to donate to the channel, help the channel grow. Every donation counts. It helps support the channel and keep content coming. So I appreciate you guys supporting. All right. What do you guys want to talk about next? Floor is y'all's.
I want to say something real quick about the film too.
Go
ahead, Cav.
The film that we have access to as fans is nothing compared to what the coach's film is. So, like, you could try to break down as much as you want on a certain player, and I'm not going to mention that player's name, but unless we actually have different angles for each play, it doesn't really help.
Well, that's what the all 22 is for.
All 22 has it. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
That's what the all 22 is.
Yeah, but you still don't have the angles that you need for all 22.
No, that's exactly the all 22 is the exact film that coaches use. It is the same film that coaches look at.
I want to, besides the film, it's nothing what the player is seeing on the field at that time. Just because someone's open on the left does not mean they know that they're open. They're going through their reads. A cornerback could slip. Like there's busted coverages. It's rare that quarterbacks see busted coverages when their offensive line is horrible. Like, because they're so worried about getting rid of the ball, that first player that they think might get open or might be open is get rid of the ball now, because who knows how much time I might have. You're not sitting there watching the ball.
Caslin, that was a fair statement 3 years ago before all 22 was accessible to fans. But now that all 22 is accessible to fans, every fan has the same opportunity to go look at the same film that coaches have. The difference is, and the point I was trying to make earlier with coaches, what former players said, is they all have their different ways of looking how a team should be successful. Nobody's right and wrong. It's I don't want to say stats, but it's what is it equal to? Is it equaling to wins? Is it totaling to wins? Is the outcome wins? And we can look at this team for the last 2 years. We've been over 500, had a playoff appearance. I think we're in the right direction. But the reality is, over the last 20 years, every time this team has made the playoffs, the following year has been a disaster. So this is a big year for this regime, this franchise, this organization moving forward. Whether, no matter who the quarterback is, no matter what the personnel is, there needs to be a successful year. And I think we can all agree making the playoffs and winning a couple of playoff games, if not going to the AFC Championship game, to me, that's what would deem to be a successful year. Now, what we think would take to get there, I think that's all based on perspective, and that's all based on, different things. What I want to see is, for example, we talk about the secondary a little bit. I don't want to see as many injuries to the secondary this year. And I can say this for the last couple of years. I think that the Dolphins in general, and I think the NFL overall, has had a very difficult time with injuries. How do we make injuries go down in the NFL? Is this a strength and conditioning thing? Why is the secondary the one that seems to get hurt more than anybody else? Is it because, wide receivers have the opportunity to they're the ones on the field that are, making, setting the trend of where the play's headed or anything like that? I think there are a lot of different aspects to look at. But for me, I think the Dolphins would have been in a totally different position this year without the injuries. Quarterback, secondary, everything. So I don't know what we need to do to make the injuries go down. But I'll say, in order for the Dolphins to be successful at all, no matter what personnel's on the field, we have to stop getting injured all the time. Point blank.
Weren't we the most injured team in all of football this year?
No. We were at the top. I don't know if we were the number one, but we were up.
The Rams, the Rams and the Chargers, I think, were number 1 and 2.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, look what happened with them.
The Chargers lost all their receivers at every little moment of the season. Like every other week, they were losing another receiver.
Yeah,
that's right.
They didn't. At the end of the season, that was the first time that they actually had all their receivers on the field together.
When they played us, that's the whole year that they did that. Exactly. And Green Bay
last year was
had a lot of injuries too. But I guess my question to you guys is that a team thing? Should we be upset that the Dolphins strength and conditioning coaches? Is that an argument? Like, we sit here and we talk about Tua. We sit here and we talk about, the secondary getting injured. And we talk about how horrible. There are some people that say how horrible of a GM, our GM is, which I don't think so. I don't agree with that. I love Chris Greer. But is this a strength and conditioning thing?
I think it's a snake bit thing. It just feels like that. You know what I'm saying? We were doing so well, and then all of a sudden these compounding injuries start coming in, and it just looks worse and worse and worse as it goes. You know what I mean? I think it was more just a snake bit.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was. I think it was more of they didn't train as hard as they should have in preseason compared to, some of the other teams. Or
maybe they trained too hard.
No, I think if you train hard enough.
Trill Williams was out. Trill Williams was out before the season, before preseason.
You know what, Rashad? It's funny that you say that, right? Because back in the day, you could have 3-a-days, right? And that was something normal in the 90s, 3 days, and then in the early 2000s, 2-a-days. But now they can only hit so many times. They can only have so many contact practices. There's all these things that try to protect the player. But the reality is we've seen more injuries in the NFL over the last 5 years than ever in the history of the NFL. Why is that?
I think that's just like
their body's not used to taking a beating. That's why.
I think it's a cultural thing, all across the West at least. You know what I mean?
Rams, Titans, Cardinals, Chargers, Pats were top 5 injured this year. Okay, thanks. Man.
Okay. I just think. When we were kids, I don't know how everybody else is. Is everybody here above 30?
Yep, I believe so.
All right, so I'm the only, and I'm 40. Okay, so whenever I was a kid, it was a ton of bike riding, a ton of swimming, a ton of running through fields, a ton of lifting hay, a ton of dealing with goats and stuff like that. I grew up on a farm.
Not everybody grew up on a farm. I didn't deal with goats, William. Just so you know.
But what I'm saying is, but you did go outside as a kid.
I had goats.
That sounds like a
we didn't have any video games like that back then. And I think it's a tale of the time
We're not
of
talking
like
about
these
society. I'm
kids.
talking about NFL players and why injuries are up.
And that's what I'm getting to.
He's saying that they're softer.
As children, that they're softer than they've ever been. Bone density. My bone density is 5 times the normal person's. All right. Why is that the case?
How do you
know what I'm saying? Do I? What'd you say?
Man. So how do you know that?
I had maxillofacial. I'll tell you exactly.
Dolphins bus score was 78. We were 210. We were 210. I think he meant top. We were top 10 healthiest team last year.
Really?
Shut the front door.
That's a lie.
That's
a lie.
Crazy.
That's a lie. Hold on. I'm gonna go through the list.
Healthiest team in the NFL last year.
There's no way.
That's one of those things that if you had bet me money and I was betting, and if I was a betting man, I would have said the Dolphins were top in the NFL last year in injury.
Whoever said that's not telling the truth.
That's inaccurate. We all saw the injuries.
Dude, where are you getting this from?
We lost all our quarterbacks. We lost our tackles. We lost a guard. We lost our quarterback. All 3 of our quarterbacks at one point.
And what's a bus score? Can you explain what a bus score is? A bus score has a 78.2. Okay, what is a bus score, and what goes into that take? And Andrevia said this is a bad take. Kids are going outside less, but these are pro athletes are playing their sports nonstop from the age of 6 now.
I think it's a multitude of things down that line. But let me address this question real quick.
Plus is a Fox Sports, and it means banged up score. So I'm assuming that means I don't know, but I'm assuming that means, and I'll get further clarification. Guys that don't dress, guys that get injured in the game and have to get taken out due to injury, guys that are injured, that are on the IR. I'm assuming that it means everything. And there were multiple games last year where I was like, the Jets game comes to mind. Teron Armstead got hurt in that game and he walks off the field and I mean, it was just bad. I mean, there were 3 or 4 players that just walked off the field in that game. It was bad. And due to injuries. And I don't know how many times last year that I saw that. But I know one thing. The point of what I'm trying to make is that in order for the Dolphins to be successful in 2023, we have to be healthier. Because
we all saw that tenfold throughout the season.
We cannot afford to have the injuries that we had last year again. Can't afford to do it.
No. Because the amount of injuries, especially in the secondary, I mean, we could count that as maybe 1, maybe 2 losses. You know what I mean?
I think the game is an outright thing of an injury. I think, there's multiple games I can point to there where I can go. Ocho Cinco told Shannon Sharp that Shannon got injured because of typical diets. Interesting. Miami bus score for divisional playoff round was 54.4. So
because everybody's going vegan.
So, that's funny, Lance.
You know what? We need more
of healthy eating.
Steven.
Say what? Oh, he went away. All right, but to get to let's get into some free agency and draft talk. Let's change the subject a little bit here. What do you guys want to see the Dolphins do when it comes to secondary help? Is somebody like Jalen Ramsey somebody you want to see the Dolphins go after?
He's a good addition, but
that was weird.
Depends on how much we're gonna, have to give up.
We need more Marlboro men on the football field, Steven.
Well, you dropped, and I had asked the question, free agency and draft talk I want to kind of get into, and I asked about somebody like Jalen Ramsey. Is Jalen Ramsey you want to see some, and you got to remember, you'd have to trade to get somebody like Ramsey too,
right? What am I giving up for Ramsey? Am I giving up my second round pick? Because I'm not doing that. Am I giving up one of my third? maybe a third, but I mean, I still think we can get somebody like Darius Russ in the third round and fill that slot easy.
Hey, by the way, I just got this. Let me throw this up here because this was just sent to me by Cruz, and I think it's pretty cool. So let me there it is. Where's it at? Right here. All right, here we go. It is the NFL bus rankings. A bus means banged up score, and its definition is quantifies how injuries affect the overall team position and player performance on a scale of 0 to 100. So these were all the wild card playoff teams last year, or the wild card games. Seattle had a bus score of 58, San Fran 75, LA 57, Jacksonville 78, Miami 54. And you guys can see Miami, I believe, had the lowest score out of anybody. And Seattle lost their game. The Chargers lost their game. The Dolphins lost their game. Baltimore lost their game. Dallas lost their game. So with the exception of New York and Minnesota, which were close, all the teams that had the lower bus score, all the teams that were injured, lost their games on wild card weekend. So injuries play such a big, significant role in how the outcome of a game will be, especially in the playoffs.
I think it's just the way the athletes are so much stronger, bigger, faster now that it's just inevitable that there's going to be more injuries. And it's just different. We're in a new day, Stephen. We're going to see, because there's going to be it's going to be at the point that these athletes are so good because of how they train and from high school all the way to college that it's just the what is that? Did y'all hear that?
I think that was Lance.
Oh, it's just the depth charts are going to be bigger now too. You know what I mean? It's just going to get to that point.
I don't know. I know that I want to see Trill Williams come back healthy, and I want to see the secondary overall.
Nick Needham. I want to see Nick Needham back. Yeah. Yep. Hopefully we can get past the injury bug.
I'm excited to see what we do in free agency from a standpoint of the secondary, obviously, along with bringing guys that were hurt back. And I think that bring back Needham, Trill Williams, obviously the addition of Cater Kahoo, and then having Xavier not have it all fall on him. I think X is. X will have a bounce back season personally, because I don't think it'll be all relied on him the way that it was.
Is he having any surgeries in the off season?
Nope. Sure isn't.
Nope.
And so
I still think we should go after. I still think we should go after that guy from Texas or from the Tennessee Titans, the left tackle.
Taylor Lewan.
I like sleeper in free agency.
Even if he sits back, pay him, because he'll be our future.
Low risk, high reward.
I think his name is Rocky Asin from the Raiders. He was graded top 5 cornerback last season, and he was slept on. He cover skills is there, legit cover skills, but he's 20.
I mean, we need a right tackle too.
Well, that's the most important on the offensive line. That's the one that's more important than anything else. That's the blind side.
Yeah, but do you address right tackle in free agency or the draft?
Well,
yes.
Again, it depends on what you're looking for.
Is there anybody that remember, we don't have a first round pick, right? So we have to be very careful about who we select in that second and third round. And is the more important goal depending on who we get in free agency to say, hey, look, this is who we. I personally think when it comes to the draft, Vic Fangio is going to have the priority over McDaniel.
Well, I think
going in free agency and go get the whole lineman. That's proven.
In free agency, you go
I don't see any offensive line in the second or third round that can help our team win next year.
Well, yeah, there is one. There's 2 in the second round we can grab at that pick.
I apologize, Stephen.
Are they going to start?
Yeah. DeJuan James and Avila
two guys that could come in and stop.
Who's that guy from HBU or
Anybody's an
HBC
upgrade over Austin
that
Jackson.
Armstead was
Sadly.
talking about?
There's a couple of them that Armstead liked that he had discussed from the HBCU bowl game that they had.
Yeah.
Listen, Bijan Robinson is a alcoholic. He likes smoking a lot of weed. He does all kinds of drugs.
What are you talking about, Estefan?
We got to start spreading these rumors so he can drop to us.
He ain't gonna drop.
Dude, he wants the bong hit video to happen again, so he'll drop.
Hell yeah, put a mask on.
The problem is the bong is legal everywhere now, so that doesn't matter.
And you realize that there is.
I'm gonna hurt your feelings real quick. There's a defensive tackle who's considered to be the reason why he got teammate coach killed, and they.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up, Rashad. Bad.
Yeah. Why don't you get a different microphone, Rashad? We're tired
I
of
know
your
you're
voice.
not talking over there, Estefan. You have the worst microphone ever.
And you realize that there's 3 running backs in next year's draft that's just as good, if not better, than Bijan Robinson is.
No,
he doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah, there is.
He doesn't.
Oh, yes, there is.
There's some. There's one.
We need this one now.
I don't know why all these running backs are hyped up like this, as if they would be better than any of the running backs drafted last year.
You know what I'm upset about, Steven?
What?
One is better.
This guy named Paul that keeps beating me at Word Blitz. Oh, I'm so angry at this guy.
we need a better line before we get a running back.
I think
our line isn't as bad.
Offensive line's the number one place we need to.
I don't give you that.
The trenches, the trenches is where we need to work.
Linebacker and cornerback.
I'm honestly, what I said earlier, I think there's something going on. That doesn't make any sense. You got rid of Applebaum, right? Applebaum apparently didn't know talent, because that had to have been why you got rid of him, is the fact that he was playing this trash guard.
Mike McDaniel said why he got rid of him. Y'all didn't see that interview?
What Mike McDaniel said he got rid of him?
He said why he got rid. Why Applebaum got released. Y'all didn't see that, where he said that he wasn't.
Steven, I'll be right back.
Focusing on being the OC, he was too focused on trying to help the line.
So Frank Smith, the OC, was too much.
Oh, my bad. I got them mixed up.
In the offensive line room last year, more than he was trying to help the offensive package, and so
my fault. I got my names mixed up. My bad.
It made McDaniel have to spend more time on the offensive scheme and everything, more than he wanted to. And his job this year was, I want to feel comfortable that I don't have to necessarily worry about who's in what room. This guy that he brought in, Butch Berry, he coached with in Denver. Okay. And so he's very familiar with Berry and feels comfortable with Berry in that offensive line room. Right. So that's one he doesn't have to worry about Frank Smith being in the offensive line room now. And now he can sit with Frank Smith and say, okay, let's develop this game plan and have you more involved in not necessarily the calling of the plays, but the execution of what we're going to run on a week in, week out basis. And I can focus more on being a head coach and maybe calling plays as we go there. And I think Frank Smith will have more of an input and say this year on how the offense is executed more than he did last year.
Well, I'm sorry, McDaniel, but you're gonna have to.
I still think Fangio's going to be our head coach.
You gotta be. If you're the head coach, you got to go into all the rooms, special team, D line. I mean, secondary. You got to do it all, bro. You can't just sit on your hands thinking that they're gonna do it for you. Yeah, you got to grab the bull by the horn, McDaniel. You can't be doing that. I don't like that he said that. So
I think Fangio's going to end up being our head coach eventually.
I think if we don't do as good as everybody thinks we are, I think they're going to get rid of everybody. I think they're going to just clean house again. So
it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. If you guys haven't hit the like button yet, hit the like button, donate to the channel, help the channel grow. And thank you guys for joining us today on Wildin' Out Wednesday. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do final thoughts of the day. It's coming up to the noon hour, and we're going to do final thoughts. So I'm going to start with Estefan. Estefan, final thought of the day. Esta, take yourself off mute. Esta doesn't ever want to be first. I think he's doing it on purpose so that I don't call on him. We'll go Rashad. Rashad, final thought of the day.
Welcome to the off season. Let's have some fun. Just remember, you're never wrong. The person you're arguing with is never wrong either. But yeah, it is what it is. I'll talk to y'all in a minute.
Be good, Rashad. Love you, buddy.
Will do.
All right, man. Let's go to Caslin. Caslin, final thought of the day.
Just be interested in what goes on in free agency, see who we bring in, and we can look forward to the draft. And that whatever we do in free agency, then that kind of give us a clue what we're going to do in the draft. I trust Fangio. If he has the keys to the kingdom, I definitely trust him. But as you know, history has shown, Greer still can't make the correct picks when he needs to.
History has not shown that.
Yes, it has.
No, it has not.
He's made a hell of a lot more bad picks than good picks.
I don't think he's any different than most GMs in the NFL, personally. Not all.
There's a lot of GMs that hit on a lot of players.
He's good at drafting good players. Or getting good players. That's it.
Well, I don't know. All right, Caslin, love you, buddy. Thank you for coming on the show today. And do you want to say anything real quick to Cruz one more time?
No, all set. Not worth it. Not worth it.
I love you, brother. Be good, man.
All right, later.
All right, let's go, Lance. Final thought of the day, Lance.
If we don't get Lamar, fire everybody.
Oh my God.
That's
how
I feel.
Well, be prepared to be disappointed because it's not.
I already am. I just
be prepared to be disappointed, Lance. That's what I will say to you.
Right? Because we never do the right thing when it comes to quarterbacks.
Oh my goodness, you're not satisfied with anything, Lance.
Not with Tua, no. He folds every year. At the end of the year, you can look at the beginning. Like the first half of the games he plays good. He plays, decent. He's inconsistent. He's good and he's bad. But at the end of the year, he just crumbles. I mean, he threw 3 interceptions last year against Tennessee. He throws 3 this year. We lost that one. I mean, plus he lost 2-3 other games towards the end of the year. It is what it is.
You can never
consistent run game. He didn't you just get a consistent run game. You don't have to worry about Tua making those mistakes. You can turn around and hand the damn ball off.
You get Lamar, and then it's a done deal.
No, it's not. Why does everybody say that? Lamar has
you can say what you want. We all have an opinion. You have your opinion. I have mine.
You're right. But
Lamar,
what playoff games has Lamar won?
I just disagree totally.
I'm asking you a question, boss. What games has Lamar won in the playoff games? I think he's won one playoff game
has
in
2
years. I'm not. Look. Regardless,
all the games against Lamar.
What I'm trying to get you to understand is
the playoffs.
He won all the games against Lamar. That's all.
Tua cannot even get to the playoffs.
Dude, like I'm trying to get you to understand. Everybody wants to trade for Lamar, but Lamar has an issue in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
Mercy.
Lamar is also hurt more than Tua.
What?
And those ball well.
Won't you go back to past since 5 years?
Why are we going back 5 years when next year is what matters?
Tua's never been healthy even in college.
Lance, you were just hurt, man. You were hurt, Lance.
Even in college.
I get it. I definitely understand where he's coming from, Steven. I don't want Lance to feel like I'm coming at him or anything. I get what you're saying, but Lamar's not a better option.
It is because he's a dual threat.
He's not a dual threat because he can't throw the ball that well.
Because he's hurt. No. So how is that going to help you when he's on the bench hurt? Your legs don't help me when you're on the bench. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand.
Well, who's going to get it? Ain't
Lamar's from here.
We have a better. We have a better opportunity at going to the Super Bowl with Lamar than Tua.
I just don't see how when Lamar hasn't won no playoff games, bro. What, he won one playoff game in all these years?
Neither has Tua. Tua can't even get there.
Dude, like I said, give to a running game. You don't have to worry about that, bro.
With who?
We don't have
you don't
a
even have a
consistent
line
running game that you have to respect.
Fix the line, beef up the running game.
It's always do something for to help. Okay. Yeah. You're
to
right,
help the offense. It ain't always about Tua. It's to help the offense, to help the team.
I know.
The
It's
team
never
needs
about
to be
Tua.
better.
Tua is freaking elite. He's the greatest quarterback. He's the left arm of God.
That's what I be talking about. See, people like you, no one said anything like that, but you're gonna just throw that out there.
You just want
to throw that out there to try to discredit everything that everybody else is saying.
Yeah, you're right.
We're not.
I'm done with it.
We're not again. I've not came up here and defended Tua at all. All I'm saying is Lamar is not a better option when it comes to injury because he's missed more games and he hasn't won only one playoff game.
Or throwing the ball. Or throwing the ball.
Or throwing. He's not that much worse than
I don't even want to go there. Like I said, if we basing everything off of injury, then look, he's missed the same amount of games, if not more. So that's not a better option.
No, he hasn't.
More games.
More. Yes, the last 2 years.
I know, but yeah, he has.
Okay, the last 2 years. I'll give you the last 2 years. But why don't you go back 5 years?
Well, this is not 5 years ago.
5 years when we were worried about next year.
This ain't 2 years ago.
But we're not. Let's not even do 2 years ago. What about next year?
Bro,
for sure is going to get concussed next year
to help your argument. But at the end of the day, bro, facts is facts. He gets hurt more than 2 years.
What the last? Okay, you're right.
Last 2 seasons, yeah, and that shows you what most likely you're going to see moving forward.
He has to use his legs because he can't throw the ball unless it's to Mark Andrews.
Okay.
He can throw the ball. Right. I'm not going to say he can't throw the ball. I know he
can't throw the ball. He can't do nothing.
See,
he's not an MVP.
See that?
He hasn't.
He can run
until he never
He
never does anything. He didn't do anything for the Ravens.
Hey, he runs.
No, hold on. You just said MVP, right? When did he win his MVP season?
All right, you're right.
That's all I'm saying, bro.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Both ways, bro.
God bless. Y'all have fun.
Have a good day, Lance. Sorry to piss you off, bro.
I'm not pissed. You guys just cracked me up.
I'm just spitting facts, bro.
Good, Lance. God.
My bad, bro. I'm just trying to be fair, bro.
Today, y'all start going at it. Like we just.
I just wanted to be fair, Steven. I'm sorry, bro. I just be wanting people to be fair, bro.
Wild Now Wednesday, take 2.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
My bad, Steven. I ain't mean that.
All right, William. Final thought of the day, William.
Final thought of the day. This guy Paul on Word Blitz keeps beating me, and if I don't beat him, I might lose my mind.
You know what I've been playing on my phone, William?
What?
Tetris.
Are you kidding me?
No, man. I've been on a Tetris kick for like a month now. Love
one
it.
of the most
addictive games.
Nah,
I like the thing about me is I got
150,000 last night, and I was like, yes.
Anything with words, you've got me. If like these,
I do word searches at night when I put my phone up and to decompress because I don't want to go to sleep using any sort of electronics.
Yeah,
I do a word search. I have a book next to my phone.
Tell you what, we used to. These guys.
Huh? What'd you say, Dave?
Somebody says they're backstage.
Okay, well we're off. We're off. We're over.
Oh, all right.
Go ahead, William.
I think he just fell off too.
William just said,
look, man, I ain't got much to say, bro. All I want to say is, bro, like fins up, bro. Root for your team, bro. Not names. Let's be smart about how we go about this draft.
I keep pressing the wrong button.
I be doing that too. But yeah, man, let's press forward, bro. Like, in my opinion, like I said, everybody does have their own opinion. But if I don't trust them to draft offensive linemen, so I would rather them go in free agency for for players that are proven. That way I can trust them drafting a running back or whoever to play behind the offensive line, and we should be okay, bro. Like,
I don't think it's as big a deal that everybody's making it out to be. I like taking a vet for the offensive line. We've got enough pieces on the defense that Fangio can draft whatever he needs in the draft, and we can get a running back if need be. If we don't get Derrick Henry, I want Derrick Henry just because he's my guy. You know what I mean? Bama boy. He's an Alabama guy. We know. Dude, he is monstrous. I stood next to him one time and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is two humans standing on each other's shoulders. Yeah, it's a defensive end playing running back. Yes, it's the craziest thing you've ever seen, especially up close. Whenever you're like standing right next to him, it's the weirdest. I can imagine because I ran into Cameron Wake in person, and Jesus, I know he's like almost doubles Cameron Wake. So like I see DJ Fluker and Julio Jones every once in a while. They're like 6'2", you know what I mean? But Derrick Henry was standing next to Julio Jones, and I was like, God, he just towers over him. I just want to see him just to say, hey, Derrick Henry came to the Dolphins, and we won a Super Bowl with him.
All right, get out of here, you two. I love you guys.
Deuces, all right, man. Have a good one, Steven. Y'all smash that like button on the way out.
Smash
the like button.
I like it. Thank you, guys. Smash the like button. Donate to the channel. Help the channel grow. We're $20 away from hitting our goal for the day. Donate that last $20. Get it in there if you like the show today. 4 people can donate $5. 2 people can donate 10. 1 person can donate 20. Let's get up there. Let's reach our goal for the day for donations. Hey, look, today was Wildin' Out Wednesday. If you like the show, go back and rewatch it. I thought it was a great show today, a lot of fun. If you also enjoyed the content, remember tomorrow is Throwback Thursday. Cameron 954 should be on. We will be talking a lot about the Dolphins, a lot of different things we discussed today. We'll probably get into some detail with stats and maybe video and how the Dolphins move forward into becoming the Super Bowl contending team that we want them to be. Friday is going to be fun. Going to have Jason Sarney on, and we're going to do we're going to talk draft and where the Dolphins should look at. We're going to talk specific players, and we're going to talk free agency. We're going to talk salary cap on Friday. So Spread Kindness Friday will be a lot of fun. We'll get into free agent, salary cap, and draft. And then remember, next Tuesday, I'm hoping to have Jason on if he's able to. And we'll have, obviously, Hot Take Tuesday with our boy Nando Talk. And we're going to do a live mock draft on the show. So that'll be a lot of fun Tuesday. Make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you guys hit the like button, donate to the channel, help the channel grow, and most importantly, remind people that this is the #1 Miami fan morning show, and we can't do this without your help. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with y'all today on Wildin' Out Wednesday. Hope you all had fun too. We will see you guys tomorrow right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Peace.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter collar. Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds the gift. He know when to go with fit. So we know when to switch. This year we got the golden pick. Time to see what that pick about. Bad vibes get sent out. Only fans up in this house. We been waiting, yeah, we been patient. Now it's time to cash out, no discount. Super Bowl, yeah, we in route. I don't know when, but it's close. I don't want to overhype, but I just know I like it. So excited, you gon' notice now. You should notarize it. They say 2 or from that rock. Shout out to some more, and now it's time to lay the smack down. You think he Dwayne Johnson? Time to be the people's champ. Hit him with the people's elbows, stick together like it's Velcro. You think you could stop us? Hell no, all day I dream about sports. I think I need some shadows. Custom with some darkest colors, just to let them know we here. Yeah, I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter collar. Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a